All right. Hello, beautiful peasants, and welcome back to the M3DM Tavern. So many little things and improvements are happening around here, and I'm just really excited and humbled to keep improving, keep doing stuff. It's awesome. Even the hair is getting bigger, y'all. Like, it's a good time. Things are growing. Oh, goodness. Also, I saw that little chat in there, like the hello, beautiful people. And I used to say that to my friends in high school all the time too. And I've totally forgot about it. So I'm like, I'm now going to say hello, beautiful peasants at the beginning of my streams. Or I'd like to if I remember. Okay. There's so many of you guys now. Is it redundant and tedious if I say every single name? It's not that long, right? I want to shout you guys out still. So, hello to Miniblaze, Rob, Paint, Aloha, of course, our Tower God, Wandering Toad, Satyr, and Just Lingual. I think that's everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome in, everyone. Welcome in. Oh, and of course, Empress Tiramisu, who just walked their dog. Empress said, I just used to run my friends over in high school, like with a hug. Beautiful. Okay. Let's talk about the things of the day. Rob says she thinks we're beautiful. I do. All right. So the question of the day is, what would you like to improve? I got painting skills, DM prep speed, world building depth, or 3D printing skills. It's difficult to just pick one. I actually want to improve pretty much all of these, but pick your favorite. Oh, and Dahlia's here. Hey, welcome back. Good morning. It's a remote work day, so I can watch the stream. Amazing. Happy to have you here on this beautiful Thursday. I say beautiful Thursday, but it's 100% thunderstorms here, so don't mind me booming you here in the background. It's just the sky. Grimnir is here. Hello, welcome back. And first, sure, a hug. Yes. Alrighty. The heist has been restored all the way back to our OG days, and it is pirates again, so ahoy. Go get your booty. I will not tell you the odds anymore because we are now in a special golden age of poing, which means each poing shall have intense value again. Long gone are the days of four-digit poing. You're going to have to work hard to hit triple digits. That's how we're doing this here. Alrighty. The poing store has been updated. And so has the currency and how things are working. So let's talk about that. We're doing a straight conversion now to where it's like $1 US dollar equals 100 poing. So I've changed the values. Tavern Pet is now discounted by 2,000 points to make it more reasonable. So it's 3,000 points for a custom Tavern Pet, 500 for a Roll of Destiny. In other words, $5 or $30. You guys will also notice there's a bar at the top of the screen here. It looks better when my camera is small. We'll make it prettier later, but anyway. This bar means that every donation goes towards a pool. Because we have people like non-sleeper, they'll come in and like donate $2. I can be like, oh, thank you, that was so nice. I really appreciate that. But I want to make sure everyone benefits from that because it's real money and it should go somewhere real. I know I stream, you guys appreciate it, but let's have it go somewhere. So every single donation will build up this bar. It will reset every day. But that means that if someone wants to buy out a Tavern Pet right away, you can for $30. Just Lingual did that yesterday. It was $20, but same concept. So yes, you guys can now pool peasant coin together to make it cheaper and a better deal for y'all individually, but then everyone gets to enjoy the same thing. So yes, I'm trying out that idea. I'm excited. It makes it a little bit more accessible. And if you guys want to scheme, and it's like, okay, there's 30 people here, so if everyone donates $1, everybody can win and benefit. So yes. Yes, exactly. Aloha says, great idea, Mia. Yes. Rob, yeah, you're pointless. We had the big poing apocalypse at the last day of the month. So yes. I think those are all of the updates. Obviously, I do not... it's a fun goal. I just want to be very, very clear that by no means am I like, okay, guys, we hit $30 every single day. That's my, like, long-term streaming goal, but long-term streaming doesn't even happen until we hit a year, and I've only been doing this for a couple months, so I want to be very clear that I'm not expecting that. Speaking of, today is my 14th day in a row live streaming. Amazing. 14 is my favorite number, so I'm kind of excited to implement some new fun things today as well. Oh, and as you guys come in, make sure to like the stream. Makes a big difference. Oh, Reaper, I feel that. That moment when someone is interested in a commission, but then they hear $50 for the price. You know what's funny? When my commissions were cheaper, I had the rudest people. And once I was able to breach like the $100 mark, like they got so pleasant so fast. So I don't do commissions anymore, but when I did used to do them last year, my commissions start at $300 US. Obviously very expensive. So you would imagine I get picky people. Nope. There's somewhere around the rich bucket, I guess, where people are just wonderful again. I hope, Reaper, that you're able to grow to that point. And I hope I can help get you there. Because $50 for a custom art commission is nothing, especially for your skills. We do need confetti for that. Thank you, Mini Blaze. The first confetti of the day is the most exciting because it actually falls nicely from the ceiling instead of just like aggressively spawning. Satyr says, Mia, are you going to take tomorrow off so you don't have to sing to Empress Tiramisu? I had to pause for a second because I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, like singing the happy birthday. I am not going to sing happy birthday to Empress, but I will do confetti. Yeah, Just Lingle confirms. My wife's best customers were $1,000 plus. It's just true. Reaper said he wasn't even that rude. He just wanted 2 character sketches, so the price is discounted already. Yeah, I get you. I had some message me on Patreon this morning, and if you're here lurking, like, I'm not mad at you, but they were like, hey, I want the $15 like tier so I can request a model, but I don't want everything else. Like, I don't need 3 printable models. I just want mine. And I'm like, are you implying that you need a discount, sir? Because no. I get the logic though, because they see like the Patreon pledge is like an itemized list, but that's not really how it works. So like, yes. To be clear, they were super nice too. Reaper said he might come back though, but who knows? It's like old salesman stuff. Once they're out that door, they're not coming back. But that was polite of them to say that. Alrighty. Just Single said, though you're killing it in terms of numbers. If this was Twitch, you'd be in the top 1%. Really? Oh, wow. Fancy. Now, the fact that, again, we're here and I'm averaging around 20 viewers, somewhere around there, and then hitting up to 30 is just, like, mind-blowing. The level of chat and, like, I'm able to recognize your guys' names because I do put a lot of effort into it and try to remember who is who. But also, like, you guys are here every day and, like, you talk a lot. So I feel very blessed to have my peasants, my beautiful peasants. All right. Oh, last but not least, I'd like to tell you guys about the freebie of the day. That's enough. Donations are cool and exciting. However, free stuff. Free never gets old. All right. Today's freebie, this is on Patreon. Someone pinged that in the chat. Yes, you can join for free, legitimately. I got about 3,700 people here, just over. Many of them also support, so if you want to either sell my models, so I have quite a few merchants that do this for $40 a month, and they do that because they make more than $40 a month selling my art, so it's kind of like a fun win-win. And that's for selling 3D prints. All right, but if you scroll down just a touch past all the beautiful releases, you will see this, daily free STL from M3DM. That's me. And we got this handsome man. He does have a princess that he's accompanying, but this is just the dude version. I mean, he could be a princess. He's got all kinds of jewelry. But yes, it is the male desert half-elf, and here are all of those different files. I have different base versions and then a pre-supported. If you just want to put it on your printer, click and go. But yes, that is the freebie of the day. If you want them, go get them. Excellent. Aloha says, Mia, do you have a ping of Moo I could use just for some editing stuff practice? Yes. Upload Moo. I think I have it just named Moo. Yes. Here's the full Moo. And that's just in the Discord for anyone to grab. Bam. All right. I have sent it to you on Discord under General. Amazing. Hey, new sub. Thank you, Shinobi. All right, what else is going on? Okay, so especially now that we are getting popular around here, if I miss your comment, just comment again. Like, just put my name, ask me again. I will not mind. I will not mind at all. I want to see your comments. I want to respond to them. All right. Anything else? Oh, I love this from Toad. Oh my goodness, I have to highlight this because I feel this in my soul. Toad says, my other favorite ones when people ask me to do commission, and when they ask for super realism, I'm like, have you seen any of my work? I used to get this a lot where people would see like, oh, you're really talented. And I'm like, thanks. I always get leery when they start off with like a vague compliment. And they're like, yeah, so I like this artist a lot too. I'm like, that's nice. They're like, well, your commissions are cheaper than theirs. Would you copy their art style? I'm like, that disrespect and the backhanded compliment at the same time. And it's funny because now like I can copy a lot of styles and I'm like, well, yes, I can, but still for moral and principles and also just sliminess, no, big no. Alrighty. Just Lingual says, even my spider comments. You know, no, I meant more like questions. Oh, also, Toad had a question for me at the very beginning that I immediately forgot, but it came back to me. Amazing. Paint says, oh, Mia, are you an improv DM or a planned? I've never officially DM'd. I am a DM wannabe. I just build worlds and then nobody plays in them. Alrighty. And I think Toad was asking about where they submit their work. Yes, Mia, would you prefer me to my classwork to be in Discord or DMs or for others to see? I don't know which is easier to keep track of, if it's best to share your work with others to see progress. Yeah, so this is for all of my students. If you guys are comfortable, please share your work publicly. If you're shy, that's okay. You can be a shy bean. But ideally, I'd like you to put it under student artwork, and that's also where I'll review it on stream. Toad said, also, Mia, I'm very grateful for your message earlier. I was just joking with my wife about how I'm probably driving you nuts with my badgering. Oh, yeah, no, not at all. You're wonderful. Speaking of, today is the first of the month, which means it's payday for Mia. So I go to my Patreon accounts and I pay everything out, right? And without being specific and tacky, because talking about money is so tacky, I like being open, but long story short, it was the highest payout I've had in a long time. Highest payout ever for my mentorship. Almost to the tune of 4 figures. That's incredible. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, almost, which is incredible. So thank you to all my students. I'm going to be here doing this for a long time, but damn, does it feel nice to get paid doing it. Ray says, time for you to host a D&D game. It is. Taylor's here. Good morning, ZBrush pals. Also, Taylor, yesterday you donated $5 and it asked, it was a ducat or a rabuck or whatever. And then like, it's $5. I didn't even think D20 Destiny roll since you didn't mention it, but like, did you want a roll? Like, you paid, so you get a roll. Anyway. Alrighty. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for all the hearts on that. It was a great, it's been awesome. Lois says, Mia, can we see the Tavern Pet lineup before we begin today? Absolutely. Absolutely. Alright, let's make myself small. We do not have a main Tavern Keeper's Craft today. Instead, we'll be finishing up the immense amount of characters I started in April and hopefully getting those buttoned up. But yeah, let's review some Tavern Pets. Speaking of, let's kind of go straight into like the donation comment. We now have this donation pool at the top here. It's $30 of donations will unlock a Tavern Pet for everybody. So technically, the best plan is to buy D20 Destiny rolls. Because if enough people do that, then you all just get a free Tavern Pet. But the reason I designed this is because I have people like Non-Sleeper who will come in and donate like $2 and dip, which is great. But I want everyone to benefit from that because it benefits me. So that's the whole point of the donation pool. All right, let's talk about Tavern Pets. Oh, and if you want, you can just spend $30 outright to unlock one, like a buy it now. But my plan is it to be a peasant collab, but obviously either works. All right, this is from Just Lingual yesterday. His wife designed this, and I brought to 3D goodness. I think we're going with it's a rabuck. But the name is Bundling the Dumpling. We also have Or bonsai. Bloom. Most of them have little booties, but not all of them. But if a booty permits, a booty there is. Carl the Crusader. This was from Ray. So we have two pieces here. So the bundling and Carl the Crusader that are actually pieces of art that were transformed from the community into a Tapper pet. Oh, there is that 3D pose version that wasn't finished. And then Buzz the bee. Little booty. And then the one that started it all, Moo. This is started from Aloha. We got Moo, and then we got Mini Moo, the angrier version. I haven't put this bonus Taver pet into these yet, but we have Petal as well. Petal is not quite a normal Taver pet because it's bootyless, because it's a snake, or a snake, a dragon. We are working, this is still a work in progress, our Cherry Blossom Dragon. And then we ended up doing this. This was also for Just Lingual because they hacked my poing system. And after many heists of suspicious win rate, Just Lingual didn't hack anything. My odds were too generous. Anyway, Petal came into existence. So yeah, those are all of our Tapper pets. We have quite the lineup happening right now. Pretty cool. I have not been being able to. Thank you so much, Aloha. I actually need this. Perfect. Amazing. I do have a spreadsheet where I'm keeping track of it, but that's much cuter. So here's my spreadsheet of all the things I'm working on. This is so everything in purple is what we started in April. As you can tell, I need to get quite a bit done still. And then we also started all the Tapper pets in April. So yeah. A lot of the sculpting statuses are finished, but I haven't made like a high-res version of them quite yet. And then Moo is the only one with a sticker and an emoji in the chat, but eventually I will get all of them. Reaper, I have considered your offer seriously, for sure. But I want to be able to like pay you properly if I was going to do that, so it's rolling around in my head still. All right. Let's open back up to the Ratfolk Chef Ranger. Another reminder that as we are getting a little more lively in the stream, if you guys say something to me or ask me a question, type M3DM first so it puts it in nice bright orange and I'll actually see it. Otherwise I will not see it. So yes. Also, this is kind of funny. I don't want to jinx the stream, but I wanted to put out a little heads up to my peasants. As this gets more popular, the fact that we haven't really got any trolls or any weirdos in the chat is great, and I'm not jinxing it. But when it does eventually happen, don't freak out. If someone's just super rude, I will see it. I will just banish them, and it won't be a big deal. But I've just kind of realized that like it can put a sour taste in your mouth when like you have your little community, and then like the interloper comes in. Just don't worry. It's going to happen eventually because the streams are growing a lot. And that's why I'm going to be opening up mod applications very soon. I know, I totally jinxed it. It's kind of the way of things. I'm just letting you know. The only hate comment I have gotten intensely on my streams, of all things, was talking about Dragon Age of Veilguard. And someone had like a bunch of swear words and was like, oh, all that woke BS, more like Failguard. And I was like, the fact the first hate comment I've gotten on stream was about my favorite game series of all time was probably the most hurtful thing could have been. They could have been like, oh, your art's weird or lame, or you have a big nose. I'm like, heck yeah, I do. Like, none of that bothers me. But don't come after my baby. I know Veilguard isn't perfect, but I love Dragon Age so much. Fun fact, the thing my camera is sitting on is the collector's edition box for Veilguard. So I want to share that with you guys. Rob says, Mia, I take offense. I've been a weirdo the entire time. This is true. Aloha says, Mia, seriously, congrats so much on the growth. It's lovely to see. Yeah, I'm just excited that it's been sustainable. What I mean by that is that I'm not like offering too much too soon and just burning myself out. Because I've done that in the past when I was like a baby artist, but I'm almost 30 years old now, so I'm an adult. Rob says, Mia, I'm also literally playing Veilguard right now. Heck yeah. My people. Sater says, Mia, I have to admit something. That makes me worried. Reaper, I want to be a mod. We'll have to fight the Lordship Aloha. I do have a top 3 running right now. I don't know if I'm going to do like standard applications or if I'm just going to like reach out to these 3 people. So we'll see. Yes, thank you, Empress. Back on topic. Our little rat chef. She looks amazing. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We're in warm-up still, so I don't mind being somewhat off topic here. But once we get into our technically main Tavern Keeper's craft, I will leave the chat be for a little bit to get some stuff done. Sater says, I kind of want you to do self-portrait so I can see how you see yourself. You think you're tall and have a big nose. What else is off? I mean, it's not like huge, but like it's very long, which again, I like, actually, just to be really clear, like I like my face quite a lot. But proportions wise, because I draw people a lot, my nose is longer than most. But it's pretty standard. It's not really anything to write home about. I do like big noses, so I probably was like, oh, it's nuts. But no, for the most part, I don't really have any features that are like super sharp or anything. Yeah, I'm looking at my own face on camera. It would be fun to kind of try to sculpt myself, and then you guys can see like what I see. That would be cool. I think it'd be a wholesome exercise, actually. You hear Maverick? Oh, yes. There he is. That little ball. That blanket, that is him. I am not short. I am almost 5'6". Thank you. Aloha says, Mia, can you tell Ricky that on behalf of the peasants, his posing has improved so much? Look at how much life has been in the last few releases. I'll just text him that right now. Peasants be praising your posing. He's not in the room right now, obviously. Otherwise, it'd be super weird. I'm texting right here. And yeah, he has gotten a lot better. Peasants are praising your poses. They say the recent ones are clearly better. Is that a backhanded compliment? Just Lingual says, I have to mute the stream for a bit, but I want to be an active chatter, so I'm going to use Sight for context clues. Sounds good. Reaper says, yeah, when drawing your portrait, I could tell you were lanky but how long your face was. Yeah, I do be a noodle. Ricky says, thank you. Lots of hearts. Oh, and he's in the chat. Also, thank you. Very good. That is true. Yes. I do have a long face. Which I'm glad, because I had like a circle head for the longest time and I looked very young. It's like I know everyone wants to like, oh, you want to look young forever. I'm like, no, I actually one of my favorite stories here, and it's somewhat recent. It was 3 years ago, maybe longer. But anyway, I bought Martinelli's sparkling cider, which is non-alcoholic. It is apple cider, okay? It's literally carbonated apple cider. Anyway, at a grocery store, and they carded me for it. I was like 25. I'm like, okay. Sater says, I saw a person on Reddit the other day claiming to be 6'3", but wears a size 6 men's shoes. Either he was trolling or something wrong. I saw that exact same post. I thought the same thing. Like, and he posted a picture of his shoe next to his friend's shoe that's also like 6 foot or whatever. And everyone in the comments was like, how do you not just fall over? Which I thought was really funny. Yeah. Yes, a size 6 shoe is tiny to be that tall. I have big feet for a woman too. You can ask Ricky. I have like a size 10 or 11. Ray says, Mia, is that a 25% payout? You guys are so bad at math. Oh my lord. I was being gentle yesterday. But no, it is not a 25% payout. Double checking. Yeah, no, it's not. I think it rounds though. So depending on what number it gives, it might round down by a couple. Your best bet is to, okay, since you guys are terrible at math, your best bet is to heist 10 points, and then you'll be able to see exactly what the payout is. Okay. We are at the end of Doors Open. It's time to get some stuff done. Welcome to the Tavern Keeper's Craft. Today, I'm actually going to finish some stuff. So unless something is on fire, you guys desperately need me, ping. Otherwise, not going to worry about it. This is where a mod comes in. Actually, you know, I'm just thinking, I'm like, I don't really want to have to do mod applications. I have 3 people in mind that I'd want to just make mods. If I make you a mod, can I trust you guys to behave and not add points and remove points? That's the one thing that I'm like, you can't do that. If I can get a verbal agreement, okay. Those that I'm like, I want to offer the mod position to are Satyr, Reaper, and Aloha. Those are the 3 that I want. If you guys want it, you can just confirm now. I don't need to do this nonsense of an application. I know y'all, you've been here forever. And that would also extend, ideally, to the Discord server as well. So if you want to do one but not the other, that makes me want you less. But that's my my official informal offer to all you 3. And as far as what your compensation is, I honestly don't know. I'm thinking of giving you like a free D20 of Destiny roll a month. Something. Just something to show that I appreciate y'all. And I like the idea of the 3 of you because you all have pretty similar like thought patterns of how you'd handle things. And you're also here a lot. At least one of you of the 3. Yeah? Okay, cool. Aloha agrees. All right. One second. I need to read what the difference is between a managing moderator and a standard mod. All right, cool. Okay, standard moderators can't even remove chat, which is like the whole point. So there, they answered my question. Yeah, Aloha, I'm going to grant Aloha first, and then they can make sure I didn't break anything because I trust you. That'd be so funny. Watch Aloha just like take over the whole channel in like the next like 5 minutes. Awesome, Reaper. Thank you. Excellent. I'm honored to have you guys. All right, Aloha. You should now have power. Aloha stream. All right, especially because I trust the 3 of you. I'm not worried about anything going instead. Yeah, Aloha has super ascended. Now you have a little gear next to your name and everything. Wow. Satyr, what happened? I heard but that one happened for a while because life hates me. Oh no. Can I add a nominal amount of point when it's appropriate? Yes. Bam. Yeah, is this the right one? These are the permissions you granted. Yeah, delete inappropriate messages, put someone in timeout, hide them from the channel, and manage messages for review. Yep, that's what I want. Perfect. Watch the mods all just like fight each other. That'd be beautiful. This is now another notable stream. We are getting our first mods. And I'll mess with the Discord stuff later because being admin is too powerful. So I'll figure out that. Make a role for you guys. Yeah, Bunny immediately. Oh no, Lo's going mad with power. It was bound to happen. All right, Reaper has also ascended. Everyone welcome our new mods. We now have Aloha and Reaper. And last, but definitely not least, Satyr. Awesome. Between the three of y'all, you guys are super active. I've really appreciated the interactions I've had with all three of you. All three of you I have had DM conversations with, and you're very consistent on stream versus in DM versus in Discord. So I trust all three of y'all. Amazing. Happy to have you here. And with that means you get one roll a month. So feel free to spend whenever. Yeah, seriously, confetti for y'all. I never thought I'd get to the point, honestly, where I had to have moderators. Because it was just like me, myself, and I, and then like my grandma, as you guys know, who watches my streams. So, hi, Grandma. Amazing. And yes, Aloha had to be the first mod just for like, for principle. Reaper has immediately turned evil. I mean, I guess I should have known based on their name. Yeah, congrats on the promotion, guys. Amazing. Yeah, I adore y'all. I adore all my peasants, but now I have powerful peasants. Is this the beginning of a class war? And yes, you guys are welcome to add and remove nominal amounts of points. So like sub 5, just to be a menace. Or I do it all the time where I'll like, someone has like a good comment or contribution or whatever. You guys are welcome to. Hey, Abel's here. Hello, welcome in. Lunchtime, awesome. We just appointed our first mods of the channel. Right, yeah, what a surprise, Reaper is evil. Yeah, I should have seen that coming. That's okay. Awesome. Yeah, Aloha mentioned, yeah, seriously though, nothing's really gonna change. You guys will just boop any mean peasants, keep everything safe and fun. Exactly. Perfect. Or anyone that's like chronically off topic, I usually handle. Reaper, I have lured you into a false sense of security. All right. It is Tavern Keeper's Craft. Now that I feel comfortable, I can just leave the chat for a bit because y'all are doing your thing. I'll probably make a channel in Discord for mods. It's just going to be the three of us that can see it. Or 4 of us. I can count. 3 + 1. The 4 of us that can see it in case you guys have any questions for me or like, hey, like, what do I do in this situation? Perfect. That's actually a huge relief because I do feel like I have to babysit the chat even though nothing has ever happened. Like I want to like take care of you guys. So it's actually a relief that I can just kind of work and not worry about something happening. Bless. Seriously. Satyr says, I could change my name to The Watcher or Always Watching, but that's kind of creepy. You do you. Ray says, Mia, now who's bad at maths? Why? What's happening? And I leave Ricky out of this. No, Ricky's already a mod. So technically we already had one. Alrighty. Well, with all of that being said, it's now time to get some art done. Again, God, kind of a relief. All right, so right now my plan is to just make sure that nothing is too out of whack with this pose. Ricky did such a good job. There's really not much that needs to be cleaned up. This is more just about making sure there's not any 3D printing issues. Like this spoon is cute for flavor, but honestly, since it has like a little stick on it, I don't think it's gonna be worth the 3D printing hassle. So we're just gonna banish it. Banish. And then I would also like to position her so she's kind of close to one of these like grass clumps because most people that 3D print my stuff also print with the custom bases here, which means is like I can use them as like pretty built-in supports. There we go. Oh, another thing I want to share with you guys is that currently my streams are between 3 to 3.5 hours. I want to slowly work my way up to doing consistent 4-hour streams, and the moderators are a huge part of that because they kind of like take over some of the brain effort, which is nice. I'll definitely give you guys like a fun little role in Discord too to reflect your ascended status. Just lingual. Pulling theft is not a joke, Jim. Oh my god. What was it from Dwight? Identity theft is not a joke, Jim. I just rewatched like all of The Office literally like this last few months, so The Office is very on the brain. Bunny says, oh, Remy is coming along really nicely. Thank you. All right, and then let's get these buttons pushed over to the side. After that, I think this one is finished. Remember, no fiddling. We're in the business of getting things done around here. I have to be like that because I talk so damn much. So if you're gonna work slow or not often, you gotta be fast. What is that? If you're gonna be dumb, you gotta be tough. Same kind of thing. All right, perfection. Let's go ahead and merge all of this down and then flatten that little foot. I have a couple tricks I do with models that are only on one foot like this, and I'll show you. One of them I already mentioned is where I kind of merge them into the base a bit. Maybe have like a tree stump or some grass acting as like a natural support. But another thing that I do is I like to flip them over and then take this little footprint here, and I just kind of exaggerate it. I make it probably 25% larger. And the funny thing is once it's all printed, you don't even really notice it, but it makes the model significantly more stable. There we go. Got a nice little platform foot going on. Platform foot. Awesome. Sater says, Bunny, that's a good point. Mia, did we name this lady? No, we're nameless right now. I would love to have a name though. Ray says 300% payout. It does round down. You're a little off. 30. There you go. Warmer. It does round down. That makes sense. Again, we are no longer in the golden currency era of pulling. It is now very valuable. Every pulling for themselves. Mini says, Mia, is it possible to cut into the base and put a peg pin on the foot to add support? Absolutely. It's stronger if you just print it as one piece. Speaking of, I kind of did that with this character here. Let me show this to y'all. Because this is kind of a similar pose if you think about it, like the line of action and whatnot. And this would have been really fragile had it not kind of laid. See how this leg, it actually touches the back of this little tree stump here? And this toe barely touches the base even. But it's really, really stable because so much of it lays flat against that tree stump. You wouldn't need like a peg or anything though, unless you wanted the whole mini to be modular for some reason. But in this case, it's easier to print 2 copies of it. Good question though. All right, that's looking good. Go ahead and close holes, remesh. Auto groups any funniness out of here. Looks like there's nothing to delete hidden, which is a good sign. That means that everything is working as it should. Same with mesh integrity, came back clean. So let's decimate this even a little bit more. Perfection. All right, now let's clean up the other pose we have. Not as exciting, but still a good classic. I love this because Ricky gave like little chef hand. All right, let's go ahead and place her in the center, and then we're not going to worry about these little claws. If it's like a spooky or grimdark model, I think it's worth the effort. Otherwise, not so much. All right, I want the pants to be a bit poofier, so let's go ahead and fix that. And then we do have a little bit of funny business going on with this boot here, so let's clean that up. The hands are also a touch small, so I'm going to inflate them, and it gives them more of that paw look. A little too much. So by default, the inflate brush has a Z intensity of 10, which I always find to be too strong. So just reduce it down to like 4. There you are. Toad says, do you have issues with support taking notches out of your minis? No. I mean, we used to, but no. If anything, ideally, you want a notch to be left behind so you can like just sand it off. But if it's ripping pieces out of your mini, are you curing before you remove supports? Because you want to, so your model is on the printer, right? Take it off the printer, get it clean while excess resin, remove support, then cure. If you cure it first, it's going to contribute to that problem. Good question. Oh my gosh. Vinny Boy says, almost here, the chef saying, Mamma Mia. Fun fact, I hated that as a kid growing up. I don't know why I was so embarrassed about that. All right, this pose is a lot more simple, so it's gonna be an easier one to clean up generally. Also, Aloha, I really appreciate you doing that little screenshot. It's always nice for me to see what you will see exactly on your side. Oh goodness, what is this? What is the wrap rat? I'm gonna leave that for y'all to enjoy. And then I'm actually going to use this quiver to touch the inside of her elbow here. So all this just prints real nice, no supports. Again, I don't mind supports, but I only like using them if they're absolutely necessary. All right, let's adjust the belt a touch. There we go. And the tail. So just like last time, I'm going to go ahead and use a bend curve modifier to get a really nice flowing tail. Let's go ahead and change the direction here. It's supposed to be at an angle, so I need to rotate it. There we go. And then add one nodule in the middle. Why are you acting like you have symmetry? That's neat. That's definitely not what I wanted. That's fine. It's still a nice curve, so I can just let it do that. And then rotate, bam, as if it was always the intent. I'm gonna run a ZBrush over this because it's a little curvier than it should be. And by keeping it nice and low poly, it'll be easier for me to add volume and then polish by features. So it kind of gets rid of like the lumpiness. You know, I feel like that tail just got overworked immediately. So what happens when something gets overworked? Do you keep working on it? No. You go back to where you were. Just do a nice little undo and just take a simpler approach. That's something that takes a long time for my students to kind of pick up. You'll get better at it as you keep creating, but it's that overworked point is how I describe it, where the model now has more issues than it had when it started. Don't be afraid to just undo and then try again with a new approach. So instead of using a bend curve modifier, which was probably fancier than I needed it to be, just grab my move brush, click and drag. Bam. That's all I needed to do. Sometimes in ZBrush, you have all of these fancy tools and it feels like you have to use them, I guess. Friendly reminder, you don't. Just sometimes the simple way is the correct way. Bam. There we go. That's all I wanted. Perfect. All right, now let's go ahead and snug up that bow and she'll be all ready to get decimated and 3D print ready. Beautiful. Gosh, I love this character. What a goofy, fun character. I know Aubrey can't watch because they're at work, but if you're tuning in the future, Aubrey, hello, future Aubrey. Thank you so much. This was a delight. Ray says, Mia, having like 500 ways to do one thing honestly kills my work speed sometimes. I get that. That's why every now and then I'll start a model and I'd write down all the tools I'd allow myself to use. And part of that was creating my custom UI. So that's the main reason why I have these brushes pinned here. Yeah, it's faster than going through here, but also it means that these are the only brushes that I use really. And if I have to move outside of these, I better have a good reason for it. Very good point. Sater says, yeah, the struggle is real. For some people, it speeds them up. For others, like you and me, it slows things down. Agreed. Less is more? Absolutely. It is weird seeing so much blue in the chat. I like it because we have a lot of channel members too, so now it's all like, it's getting really colorful in the chat. It's nice. Someone's going to tune in new and be like, oh my God, does she need this many moderators? Her community must be crazy. It's like, no, I just really like them. Also, it's rare that all three of you guys are here in the same day. So that's partly why I kind of, on a whim, was like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and appoint mods now. Because you guys are all here right now. Makes my life easy. All right. I feel like she's a little leaned back. Let's lean her forward a touch. She's just has such a hunched neck. Oh, that's funny. There we go. Perfect. Okay. And let's go ahead and use these pants to make her silhouette as clear as possible. So I'm just going to keep rotating the model and make sure that everything reads nice and clear from every angle. We're going to re-enable perspective for that. And then fix a little bit of clipping here on the belt. So pretty much all of this work you guys have seen me do right now, it's all done simply with the move brush. Poofy pants. Fix everything. How much poof is too much poof? Nonsense. Fake question. Sweet. That is looking just the way I wanted it to. The buttons, I think, are a little bit low and hard to read, so I make them larger and move them just a touch. All right, there is plenty of fiddling that could still be done because, my goodness, that's the curse of fiddling with your artwork, is there's always something else you can hyperfixate on. We're gonna zoom out, look at her, yep, she's done, move on. Remesh by union, and let ZBrush cook. Bunny says, sometimes tavern goers do get rowdy and need to be kicked out. This is true. She keeps extra cheese in her trousers. All right, this is looking good. Got a funny, something funny happening right there, but you guys can't see it, so we don't need to worry about it. Empress says, I do hope someone requests a rat butler. That would be delightful. I would love to do that. All right, this remeshed really nice. Let's go ahead and flatten those feet and then get her popped into Mesh Mixer and she will be complete. That rhymed. feel like I say accidental rhymes on stream all the time. It is not intentional at all. What about a rat night? I would do a whole rat family. Bunny says, some kind of royal rat authority. We do have a queen. Yes, protectors of the queen. I love that Ray and Just Lingual are in the background trying to like conspire on what the rates are. Sean says, which version of ZBrush do you use? Do you pose them or have program run the pose? Great questions. I use ZBrush 2022.0.8. So I have not updated since Max on purchase because they are expensive and that's dumb. I do pose them in ZBrush using Transpose Master when they are creatures. However, animal humanoids like this, or humans in general, I have recently, as of December, I now give them to my husband and he poses them in Character Creator 4. Yes, accidental rhymes all the time. Oh, that's kind of like a slant rhyme, isn't it? This is true. All right, that is looking good. Oh, I never merged the tail down. How funny. Not a problem. We can just go ahead and merge. And then, is that too thin and annoying to 3D print? I mean, like I know it will 3D print, but it'll probably break really easily. So let's just do my little trick where I'll add thickness just in one direction. So it kind of like maintains that illusion of how thin it is. Abel says thank you. You're very welcome. How much is Character Creator? $2.99. Except around November, Black Friday-ish, I got it for like half of that. They're also going to release Character Creator 5 soon, so I bet you 4 will go on sale. And it is perpetual. Does it come with updates? I'm not sure, but it really just doesn't need to for how solid the program is. It's quirky, the same way ZBrush is quirky, don't get me wrong. Similar to ZBrush, if stuff doesn't work, it will just like crash and freeze. And I'm like, you want to tell me why you're crashing and freezing? No, it just crashes and freezes. I'm like, okay, neat. So it's a lot of like trial by error and like process of elimination to figure out what not to do. They do have a tutorial where it's like, oh, as long as you're under 300,000 polys, you're good. You're not. There's lots of things you can do to piss off Character Creator 4. Lots. Empress says, Mia, is that why the tail was acting like it had symmetry? It wasn't merged down. No, I think it had to do with my curve modifiers. I didn't have bend start locked, but good question. Abel says, with your abilities and presence, you could be a Maxon streamer. I think they give you a free sub. Well, no, they actually email me about once a year harassing me because I am a professional that I should be using the updated version. Dead serious. I say harassing me because I'm dramatic. They're not harassing me. I'm just being very dramatic because this sales rep seriously contacts me being like, yeah, it's only a $500 upgrade. We're giving you a discount. And I'm like, honey, I got this for $800 once years ago. So they're not very good at advertising their stuff. Their communication to their customers could be greatly improved. And yeah, ZBrush, the updates are outrageously expensive. They want you to just pay the full amount again, which is not an update. You guys are going to make me rage talking about ZBrush. Matt's here, saying to Ray, I use it because it's the easiest way to rig something I've found so far. Well said. Blender is pretty solid. I did learn how to rig things in Pose in Blender as well. AccuRig has gotten really good, but I just don't like using Blender. All right, time to merge all these pieces down and then put them into my end ZPR, which is not as pretty and fancy, but it gets the job done. All right, come over here. You know, I don't like going through my own file directory. It's just so much faster to type. Oh, see this really weird masking? See all this glitching? This is what happens if you merge something down and you did not close out your gizmo. So see this gear right here? I didn't click accept before I merged down. So it panics and it does this really interesting glitchy nonsense. It's really not a big deal, but just a heads up, if you get that and you panic, don't panic. It's okay. All right, I'm going to append these. This mini on the left, this half elf, she is already scaled correctly. So all I have to do is flip this over, line up the bases. I like to turn on transparency. There we go. It doesn't need to be exact. Like, this level of precision is plenty. All right, scoot her on over. And then I would say these rats are about the correct size. They're gonna have larger heads, which is actually gonna be quite beneficial to us. Here we are, perfect. And now it's about just putting them on the base in a way that looks nice. I'm gonna go ahead and rotate this base. It gives me a little bit more room and the cheese is up front. Here we go. I think that's her best angle is looking this way. I like to call this like the alpha angle. This is what I consider when I make my renders and my advertising assets. Reaper says, Blender is a good free alternative, but it still pales in comparison to ZBrush. You know, for some things, if you want high poly sculpting, ZBrush wins. But if you compare the softwares to each other, like apples to apples, fruit to fruit, Blender is the better software on all accounts. I will never say that again, but it's true. Sater says, back in my day, I had to base mesh in 3ds Max, export OBJ to sculpt in ZBrush, take it back out, bring it to Topo Gun to retopo, and then bring it back to Max to rig and skin. Oh, the tedium. I think the current professional pipeline actually looks a lot like that still. Not quite in the same order or the same softwares, but lots of moving around to different software still. Yes, I like that, Reaper, but you can also ask this community to sail the seas for ZBrush as well. That is the funniest way I've heard that said. I love that. Allegedly. Does anyone remember Mudbox? I have had people bring that up to me, but I never used it. Reaper says, wow, somebody record that. No, bad peasant, bad mod. All right, it is important that the feet are actually touching the ground. It's the little things that get you in the final stages here. I'll need to move the cheese around, I believe. Oh, did I already remesh this? Oh, I'm gonna be so disappointed with myself if I did. Cool, I didn't. I was gonna say, like, I usually know better. So I don't like to merge all the components of my base down until I have placed the mini, just in case I have things that are just not in the right spot, like this. And I think it'd actually be easier if I just put the cheese on top of the stump, honestly. Bam. That gives me a lot more room to play with and gives the cheese more of a crowning moment. There. Let's go ahead and scoot that over. Isn't Mudbox pretty much abandoned these days? Yeah, Matt, I think you were correct. Also, wouldn't the mods be lords and ladies? Yeah, I talked about this. I wasn't sure if they'd be like dukes and duchesses or lords and ladies. Wendelier says, Mia, since the mods have been given authority to regulate the peasants, should we call them knights or maybe magistrates? I'm a big fan of knights. Well, I'll give it it's up to the mods themselves. Duke, Duchess, lords, ladies, or just everyone's a knight. I like all of that. Rob says, Mia, you temporarily forgot the golden rule. The cheese stands alone. Hey, Yoni's here. Welcome in. All right, this flower is a little in the way. Let's kind of scoot that on over. Let's scoot on over without destroying it. Why are you being like this? Fine, we will mask you. Usually I can get away with just smearing things around with a move brush at a high Z intensity. Apparently not right now. That's okay. All right, that is looking good. So let's go ahead and export this base by going to, oh, you know what? I need to remesh it now. Okay. First, I'm going to remesh the base. And then we're going to decimate down to 15,000 points because currently it's over 50,000. It won't cause 3D printing errors when it's that high. It just makes your slicer kind of slow. And then since I have hundreds and hundreds of models, it behooves me to not make them all gigantic in file size because I already have to pay for file storage as it is. All right. Oops, that's not what I wanted. There we go. Tool, export. And then I simply name it B for base. And then this model will be C for the casual pose. And now let's get the A pose action all fitted. The mod should be bouncers. No, it's not tavern themed enough. Tavern bouncers. I mean, I guess maybe. That makes me think of like a club. An anti-hero night. Oh boy. Sater says, now I'm back in school to get my master's, become a therapist. I was curious what you were back in school for, but I figured you'd share if you wanted to. That's very exciting, and based on how diplomatic you are and the fact that I made you a mod is extremely fitting, isn't it? That's fantastic. Very cool. And then what else? Working in restaurants for a couple of years, that's what I did during school. I got a job at a machine shop making parts for oil and gas. Worked my way into the engineering department. Very cool. Yeah, you've been around. Minnie Boy says, I don't know, bouncers would fit the tavern theme. If I'm the only person who doesn't think it'd fit, then that's okay. I can be wrong. We can call y'all whatever I want. Wandering Toad, can I be an alchemist? You can be whatever you want. Or crafter, since I'm a student. Also an option. All right, how am I going to make this model sturdy? My go-to is to kind of like push it next to this log right here. I might need to just make a different base version just for this. Yeah. That's fine. All right, cool. We have the base version here. Let's bring this one back. And I'm gonna keep the mini pretty much in the center of the model. If I flip it upside down and turn off perspective, I can see very quickly if any of the mini is overhanging. It's okay if your mini hangs off the base a little bit, but when you're using it on tabletop, it can get kind of annoying if your mini is like T-posing out and hitting other minis. So I try to keep it tight. Yoni, what? I want a mod. No, I picked my 3. The 3 have been chosen. And for Says Mia, just a random update. I attempted chicken dumpling again, 3rd time, for practice and gave up, not knowing enough about all the buttons or where things are such a hindrance. It's okay. We shall fix this mañana for your birthday. What about keepers? I like keepers, especially because that reminds me, in Dragon Age, the Dalish, like, elders are called keepers, so that's very funny to me. All right, we're going to scoot this over. Oh, why are you being weird? Why are you hollow? I don't understand. What if I auto groups? Oh. Interesting. There we go. I was going to say, I'm like, you're not going to make me rebuild you, are you? Because I don't want to do that. Cool. We're just going to scoot this over to the center. Nice and simple. My dog is snoring very heavily. If you're hearing weird gurgling noises, it's Rest assured, not me. You guys can, if you look carefully, you can see his little head. He's a black dog. He's pushed up against the wall right now. Yeah. His whole little body is shaking right now. Doesn't look like a bad dream, but he is barking. Are you woofing? Can you guys see that? It's the smallest little bark. My goodness. Hey, RV is here. Hello, welcome in. You are late. Abel says, does your husband also sculpt or just work for you? Huh. No, he does not work for me. If anything, it's the other way around. But no, he does the posing, but he doesn't do any sculpting. Technically, I started the business myself in 2019. I was still in college. He was working at a tire shop. And then he saw I was making more than him and I really needed help running everything. So he's like, okay, we went in on it together. And then about 2 years ago, having all the admin stuff and whatnot, I like jokingly fired myself and was like, you handle all the big decisions because I feel overwhelmed. I just want to sit and make art all day. Obviously, we still talk about business. I handle all of our taxes and that kind of stuff. But the actual brunt of the responsibility and the impending doom feeling you get sometimes as like a self-employed artist, he handles that. He does a great job doing so. Yeah. Ray says, Mia, are you much of a reader and have you read the Mistborn series? Yes, I am a big reader. Let's see. I keep a log of all the things that I've done in a year. It's just a fun thing. I have made 6 woobles. I have read 10 books and I've ridden my horse 3 times. And I've done 2 sketches because I'm trying to do better at 2D art. I've only done 2 sketches. I should work on that. But yeah, I've read 10 books this year. And I will not tell you most of the books because honestly, some of them I'm embarrassed to admit, they're not like... They're fine. Look, they're fine. I read a lot of like fantasy and like I read historical fiction's like my favorite too. But some of these romanticides that I read are so freaking trashy. So I will not admit to reading some of those. I won't finish them if they're like, if the plot just gets totally obliterated. But yeah. Bunny says, it's hard to sculpt when you're missing an arm, to be fair. Love the layered tab lore, I really do. Those who know. Yeah, Rob says, I'm a huge Brandon Sanderson fan. I cannot believe I have not read anything by him. Books are kind of expensive, and I read a lot. So, like, each book would be like $10, right? And I've read, what, I said 10? So that's $100 in books. So I do the Kindle Unlimited thing, because it's like $13 a month. But I got the first, like, 4 months for $1. So that makes it affordable. Otherwise... It's so painful to buy a book and not like it, you know? So I like this more like a library feeling where I pay for it and I can try lots of books. Yeah. Yes, spicy books, but not, oh my god, Ricky calls them my little books. They're not like that. They're not like the actual little books, okay? There is a plot in there somewhere. Oh my god, Sater just finished reading the Fourth Wing series, was unimpressed. Right? What in the garbage? I read that. I didn't finish all of it because the most recent one, Onyx Storm, came out, and like I did not finish the second book. She's so dumb. God, I can handle a dumb female main character lead, but like, ugh, God. The first book is easily the best in the series. Did not like as it went. Yeah. Okay, that was very distracting. Thanks. Yeah, I need to read some Brandon Sanderson books. One of my dearest friends, Walker, swears by him. He has a whole bookshelf of them. I love seeing how poor and pulling you guys are. It brings me joy. It really does. Yeah, so many Brandon Sanderson fans. Sater says, thank you, in all caps. Yeah, no, Fourth Wing is, that's the kind of book I won't admit to reading, because it's just kind of I don't want to say it's garbage for a lot of reasons. One, because it's not, and that's dramatic. I was entertained. Two, on the off chance that author ever saw me say that, I would feel terrible. You know what I mean? So, no, it was fine. I enjoyed my time, but not enough to read the third book. That's for sure. Yeah, he low-key is the Tolkien of the day. Brandon Sanderson. I need to start reading it. Yeah. I will tell you one of my favorite books of all time, though. Immediately, I can't remember the name of it. Naturally. Is it The Name of the Wind? Yes, The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. Fantastic. I have not read the second one yet because he's still working on the third, supposedly. But The Name of the Wind is incredible. Genuinely, just an absolute delight. Sater says, yeah, it's not garbage, it's not for me. If you read the second book, it does get pretty... But yeah, the first book's fine. All right, we are finishing this up. It's been an hour, and I got both of these post-processed, and I am happy with that. Especially because a lot of that was our warm-up, which I just allow for a lot of socializing and whatnot. You said Fourth Wing. Yes, they're making a TV series. I agree. Yeah, she was clearly an author trying out fantasy, not a fantasy author. I agree. Yeah, Patrick Rothfuss has been working on The Name of the Wind, the third one, for a long, many years at this point. Chapters have, been shared eventually. Look, if it can't, I don't want them to rush. I want it to be good. Because the first one was such a delight. Like, truly. Yes. Name of the Wind was Chef's Kiss. Too bad he'll never finish the series. I know. Have you guys read the second book? I heard it was good as well. I just haven't read it yet. Alrighty. So we'll call this base BA because it's going to go with the action pose. And then action. Honestly, I made her a little bit too big, I would say. She should be smaller than the half elf, and she's shorter, but I don't mind her being a bit bulkier. It makes them so much easier to print and paint. Yoni says, freaky spicy books, huh? Fantasy, thank you. They're called romantasy. You sound like my husband. Stop. Reaper says, I've listened to a lot of Brandon writing advice videos because I'm trying to learn how to write good books for my own characters. Very cool. Paint has a good point. Does a book series always need an end? I get you. Like, I would just like more of the series from Patrick because it's incredible, but it definitely doesn't detract from my time with it just because I don't have a third book. I mean, goodness, I still haven't even read the second one. Ooh, we have a dissenter among us, guys, a heretic. Sater says, I'm actually going to be contrary and say I'm not a huge Sanderson fan. He's a good writer and his world building and magic systems are second to none, but he has a hard time stopping. Interesting. I have no horse in this race because I have never read a book by them, but I love having a dissenter. Chaos. All right, we will call this a Ratfolk Chef Ranger. I thought I was going to leave out the chef part and just call her a Ratfolk Ranger, but she's so obviously a chef that we're going to keep the whole thing in there. Oh, and also, every now and then I read a Dean Koontz book. Huge fan of Dean Koontz. I recently read Phantoms. Really enjoyed it. So if you guys just want like a straight up like scary book, that's not, I mean, it's I guess fantasy, but it's all modern setting. It's more like a sci-fi. It's really a horror though. It's quite good. Mini Blaze says, has anyone read the JD Rob and Death series? I have not. Yoni, romance. Okay. Romantasy is what's called. Romance and fantasy. All right, almost done here. Ratfolk chef. Whoop, I can't type. There's no I in this. Keep forgetting to put what pose it is. Casual. Because she is not running about like a lunatic. Though I think it's safe to say that everyone's favorite pose is the her jumping forward with a frying pan. It's quite iconic. I don't think Aubrey has seen it yet because they haven't been able to join the streams. They're gonna love it. Ray says, Mia, I don't know how keeping up with the chat's going so fast. I look away and I miss him. I read fast. Perfect. Paint says, I love a good, is that modern fantasy book? Without the smut. I mean, let's not be hasty now. Oh look, me Googling what a mod is. Lol, don't mind me. All right, I need to grab this. All right. This is my favorite moments, y'all. It's taking this from Ratfolk Ranger from work in progress to releasing soon. Amazing. Also go to my master spreadsheet over here and go to finished, finished, amazing. All right, and I also need to actually upload these. Come on. Oh, I cleared my cache and cookies and whatnot, right? And it totally fixed it. It's no longer laggy and crap. So thank you for that suggestion. I don't think I read it out loud yesterday, but I definitely saw your comment and it was helpful. Ray. The bright red face. I don't know what you're talking about. Also, I'm just super pale. So like if I experience a single emotion, I turn red. It's just the default nature. Did I not export both of them? I'm gonna drive myself crazy. Boo. That's okay. That's why I still have it. All right. Edit, combine, and Ratfolk, Chef, Ranger, Action, Decorative Base. Hey, only one typo. Not bad. There we go. Oh, how cute. Oh my God, Aloha. That's fantastic. Okay. Amazing. Donation goal. Making it here. Yeah, that's cute. I need to I don't have a ton of real estate, so I can move stuff around. I can move all the mugs to one side and then put this to the bottom right corner and make the bar look like this. I can actually superimpose the current goal that I have because it updates live on top of this. Yeah. Okay. Yes. I'm going to, if you want to do a different version, that's fine, but I'm going to just download this, and I'm probably going to build this into the stream next time. Thank you, thank you. Seriously, incredible though. You're the best. You guys better not have quoted some of that nonsense. I will never say this again about Blender. Yeah. As I was saying that, I'm like, why am I saying that? They're gonna save it. Ray said, Mia, oh, I thought you didn't see the cache comment. No, it wasn't like an interesting topic for us all to talk about, so I didn't read it out loud. I'm very careful with what I read out loud. Usually, sometimes. Yeah, perfect. Mods can give other mods points, but you cannot give yourself points. Aloha definitely deserves a point for that. Perfect. Unable to find Aloha. Womp womp. Oh my God. It's okay. I find if I just wait a little bit and try later, the bot usually recovers. It does not like to be rushed. It's a very sensitive bot. Paint says, you thought I meant modern fantasy? No, not that. Yeah, I had a feeling, but I was like, I'm gonna pick that one. All right, that has been uploaded. We officially completed the thing, guys. RB says, oh, now we have mods as well. Great. Hey, I was the mod before, or I am still the mod, so nothing's really changed, but now you can be smited by other peasants that are now knights. Cower in fear, RB Gaming. Yeah, they're kind of bullies, sorry. All right, up next is the Cursed Clown Doll. All right, well, let's get to work. First, delete all of the things. Because, wow, my downloads folder is a disaster. It's okay. Yeah, I did ask this them this morning, but we've been talking about it for a little bit. Oh god, she is super creepy. Ugh. Cool. She was supposed to be, but I'm still caught off guard by how creepy this turned out. Awful. Alright, very good. This is the action pose. Looks like she is creeping forward. I'll definitely need to do a decent amount of cleanup here, but it's going to be worth it. Alright, copy tool. So what I'm doing right now is each pose we actually keep in a separate ZPR. It tends to prevent maximum nonsense between character creator and ZBrush. And so I'm just pasting them, each tool, into the same ZPR. Oh, that's going to be a really cute one. Kind of like a classic creepy doll. Good job, honey. All right, this is casual. And then we have the action. Creepy, very good. And then the last thing that I do is I grab this file that has both of them, or this, I need to say the right nomenclature so that y'all can follow. All right, so these are now, both subtools are in the same tool, so I can copy this tool and then open the original ZBrush project file. This is the one that has the T-pose, so if any assets got too screwed up in Character Creator, I can just import it directly in. So yes, that is what's happening right now. Blurst, some might say. Yes, very nice. All right, perfect. We're gonna edit our screen a bit here. So first things first, I don't like that there's a gap. It's not using the full document. So I'll go to document, scroll up on this just so it's a larger number and click resize. It's gonna be like, are you sure? Just say yes. Command N, click and drag once, click the letter T, T as in tiger. And now you're fixed and your document fills your whole screen. Amazing. Vanity Blaze, you have to calm down about the fingernails. You say it every time. Have you heard the song Creepy Doll by Jonathan Coulton? No, I have not. Emperor says, wait, I just realized you do a static and an action pose? Yes, where have you been? Wait, yeah, so who leads the revolutions at this point? Because Aloha, you are now like part of the system. Many ways. Well, it's creepy. I mean, yes. All right, so we're gonna put this over here. Do a little stamp. And then let's change up our color background in scene. This is something I do on stream now, and honestly, I think it makes the live streams look better, but it's mostly for me. I've discovered I can put fun colors in the background, and now I cannot stop. Let's go with a warmer color. Oh, creepy. Beautiful. All right, and then go to document, click and drag, pick something kind of on the pale, desaturated side. Yes. And then messing around with the range and center. Just kind of adds a nice little bit of flavor, I think. And if anyone doesn't like it, that's too bad. It's for me. I can never remember how to flip the gradient the way I want it to, though. Hey, Square Peg makes games. Hey, welcome in. Hey, got a question for you. Do your minis print well in FDM? Heck yeah, they do. We're doing a whole series right now on TikTok, which means also YouTube Shorts, where we show like side-by-sides of our FDM. So right now, the only FDM print I have next to me is this gigantic guy. Obviously not a mini, but it is FDM. Is there any FDM minis? No, they're all in the loft right now. If you go to my shorts on YouTube though, I have a side-by-sides where I show off my FDM print minis. They look fantastic. Obviously, they're not as incredibly in detail as like this tiny little winged cow, obviously. But for tabletop ready, nah, it's pretty damn good. I'm very, very proud of them. Yoni says, how much is win rate and payout? That's a peasant question. You don't get to know. All right, let's go ahead and figure out how to move this around. We're gonna learn. All right, so this is it goes from 1 to -1. So negative is probably what I want. And then I probably change the range. Yep. All right, cool, I figured it out. Because I've been doing it every time kind of randomly until I get the result that I want. And I'm like, okay, it's time to not be so chaotic. Let's take a moment to learn how it works. Abel says, what is your poly size for a mini that goes to print? About 200,000 points. And that's a 10 megabit file. Is it megabit or megabyte for MB? That's my dog snoring, just to be clear that I'm not gurgling. Toad says, fantastic work, by the way. Thank you, thank you. I want a better color. So usually when I pick the background color, I want to be something that's complementing the main one. So we have lots of red tones here. So I'm going to go on the opposite side of the color wheel, which you cannot see. Here we go. Here, we were red. I just clicked over here. And now pick a color from here. That's a lot of here. Just go on the opposite side of the color wheel for maximum contrast. There we go. And it can be really desaturated. It kind of just helps the model pop more. And it prevents the entire screen from looking gray because it's kind of just ZBrush. Abel says, thank you. You're very welcome. Bunny says, MB is usually megabyte. Megabits aren't often used. That makes sense. How many bits are in a byte? Sater says, kind of funny to imagine me breathing so hard it sounds like pug snoring. It does not happen often, but I have been known to snore every now and then. Did I disable the bot again? No, I did not. It's just slow. It's doing its best, okay? There's 8 bits in a byte. Someone says 4. Paint is confident as well. It is 8 bits per byte. Bunny says 4 bits are a nibble. Are we joking now? I don't know. All right, so we have this character here, and now we're going to get these poses all nice and cleaned up. God, they're creepy. Okay. They both have a base on them way down here. So I'm going to mask one of the bases and go to split mask points. Rename my subtool to be base. And then scoot it on up where it belongs. We do not need 2 bases. So I can select the other file and just mask this section and hit delete hidden. There we go. Sweet. All right, now I'm going to roughly position these to make sure they're the same size. I think she's a little bit short. God, she's creepy. Yeah. Okay. Looking good. We're going to work on the casual one first because she's less jarring. Yeah, the bot just took out Justlingle for spamming Spooter. I don't think it was that. I think it's like the Zaglo characters that look like nonsense. I have that on a ban. Not on a ban, but like it just deletes your message. It's not the spiders. Streamlabs is timed out. Okay, let me just refresh the heist. God, when your chat is so active, it locks up your bot. It's impressive. What I really think it is that I don't pay for Streamlabs. I use the free version. And I wonder if there's like a limit, like a soft limit. It's like, you're not paying for it. That's why I haven't named it Barley the Barkeep, because Streamlabs is freaking like $30 a month. And I'm like, the streams are making money, but like to spend $30 a month, that's $360 a year. I'm like, we'll see. We'll see. I need it to be worth it more than just updating the bot, you know? But I also love spending money on my stream, so we'll see. Yeah, I have reset the bot, so you guys should be good. Bunny is also not joking about the nibble. Computer scientists do have a sense of humor. What do you know? Thank you, mods. Sater says 1 student equals 1 Streamlabs. That's true, but I think it's the only feature I would use is renaming the bot. I don't think it would speed it up. That's just like my theory. So to have more features than that. Rob says, "Mia, pass that cost into the consumer. It's the American way." And Emperor says, "Might I suggest another bot? Mix it up bot." Yeah, it'd be super open. Yeah, before I like actually start spending money on the bot of the stream, it needs to be cool. It needs to be worth it. And I can keep the Streamlabs for overlays and whatnot. Okay. That's a good point, Sitter. Set yourself a target number of viewers or subs and pay for it when you hit that level. Yeah, I think that's fair. Yoni, I go cry in the corner because I was left out. I'm sorry, Yoni, you were never going to be a mod. You care about pulling too much. I cannot give you that power. Alrighty. It is time to work on the model. This pose is not going to need much cleanup, which is nice. Alright, first thing I'm going to do is split the weapon into its own piece. There we go. Yoni says, "I don't care about pulling, I'd be giving them away." I'm so sorry. The moment has come and passed. If I make you a mod as well, Yoni, the entire chat will be solid blue. I don't think I'm going to have the weapon for this pose right here. I just think it's kind of distracting. I do want a more simple version available. So, no weapon for this one. But for this creep, absolutely. Also don't need the claws. That's just kind of more of a flavor thing that we do during the T-pose section. Yoni buys 100 D20 rolls. Yeah, see what I mean? This is what I'd be worried about. Yoni, I should have my own roll. You can be whatever you want. I mean, Yoni, you're technically... Well, you and RB are my only legendary supporters on YouTube, so you're special already. You do not need to be special and have power. All right. This is a pretty easy one to clean up. This has been nice. Just using a lot of move topological and getting stuff that fit correctly. I think we're pretty much set. Heck yeah. You move her hands around just a touch. Perfect. Yeah, even Ricky's casual poses are getting better. they're becoming a lot easier for me to post-process, which is awesome. Hey, Ian's here. Hey. I'm here, just quiet. Still appreciated. Yoni, can I be a purple boy? I think that you guys are going to change colors as you stay a member, or at least the little badge changes colors. There aren't roles in the YouTube chat, but I could do something in Discord. RV says, Mia, I only want 1 power. I want to go home with 0 points at the end of the stream. Technically, one of the mods could take your point away at the end of the stream. You could ask them to do that. Ray says, Mia, every time you say casual, the lyrics from Chapel Roan, pop up in my head. Same. Just Lingle says, Mia, I've sound again. Was I a good or bad chatter? You were very good. All right. The last thing you need to do is just make sure that her hair somewhat behaves to gravity. It's okay if it's not perfect because it's kind of creepy and I could see her hair being on this, like on the more on the stiff side. Yodi says, I want 1 power and that's to get really good in ZBrush. Let's go. Love the enthusiasm. Finish your assignment. Zader says, damn it, now I have Pink Pony Club stuck in my head. You're welcome. That doesn't sound like a problem. Perfect. All right, I think this pose is all finished. That was an easy one for me to clean up. I like it. My only concern is these little hair strands. They might as well just touch the end right here because that'd be a really pain to put a little support right there. So let me just go ahead and stretch these down. I don't mind having like fragile decorative bits like that on a model, but they have to really serve like a purpose and really make the model look significantly cooler. Kate says, need to head out, but lots of love. Have a great day, everyone. And Mia. Thank you. And I appreciate you tuning in. Perfect. All right, that looks good. Mesh integrity isn't reporting any problems. Time to remesh and then decimate. Aloha says, Mia, now the stream has grown so much, have you moved a lot of focus to more stream-based content and learning compared to before? I just kind of wing it. If I have things I want to talk about as far as like what I'm teaching, I do. Otherwise, it's kind of just like a steady stream of me talking. If the chat's saying stuff, I'll kind of focus on that topic. But until we get to happy hour, I keep it pretty loose. Does that answer your question? I feel like that might have answered your question, or I might have just hijacked your question and just gave a different answer. Yeti says, I'm trying to, but chat and you are distracting me. I can have a mod temp ban you for a little bit to help you, you know, in your studies. Gosh, I love being able to like this deploy my mods on you guys. It's super funny. It's starting to get really windy here. Thunderstorm is on its way. Sager says I'm on it. Rip. I think you just click the three dots next to their names, and then you can click put user and timeout, and then you get a bunch of options. Let me know if that works for you or not. Yoni, wait, do I get points still? No, you wouldn't. You have to chat still. Baby's first band. That's so cute. Oh, Lord. Video says, OMG, how long before we hear band X and we see all the mods yelling shotgun? That's beautiful. It worked. Okay, so it does delete all your messages. It doesn't remove points. So, like, it looks harsher than it is. It's very funny, though. Yeah, you got him. Cool. Yoni, get here. Okay, Yoni, since I know you're still here. Yoni, if you finish your assignment during the stream, we'll give you 5 points. How's that? Yoni's already back. Get your assignment done. What is this heresy? Sater says, I wasn't actually going to do it, but I was peer pressured. It is the way of things. God, that's really funny. I'm going to enjoy this. I should have had mods a long time ago. Reaper said, you guys can have fun. I've banned my fair share of people. That makes sense. This is not Reaper's first rodeo. Is that why you're called Reaper? I actually never asked. Maybe I should have known that about you. Just Lingual is now spinning spiders. Justice spiders. And then technically that does contribute to the goal of the day, too. Justice for Spooter Gang. Thank you, Just Lingual, for the tip. I'm going to have confetti go while I update our stream goal. Let's go. I had it set to 1 to start with anyway, just so you could see what it looked like. What was it? Is that $2? Yes. I'm just going to round because it makes my life so much easier. It should say 2 now. Haha, it does. Cool. The bar works. Alright, Yoni, it's time to lock in. Get that assignment done. I don't even know what assignment you're on anymore, Yoni. It's been so long. Gentle roast. RV says, Mia, what's the offer for me? What offer do you need? Ray says, I thought it was going to be automatic to update. Yeah, it would be if I was on Twitch, but I'm a peasant and it doesn't support YouTube. But it doesn't take very long, so I'm not worried about it. All right, in this case, we're actually going to keep creepy fingernails. So let's go ahead and make this a left and a right. I mean, who's to say it wasn't automatic, Ray? That was so seamless. It also gives me an excuse to leave up the confetti for a little bit. So a nice easy way to move individual pieces is move topological. It just prevents you from having to use the mask brush a bunch of times. Just be careful because it is still a move brush. It's not a solid mask, so it's gonna deform each piece a little bit. Your best bet to prevent that is just increase the intensity to 100. RB says, Mia, how many points for me if I finish my figure day after tomorrow? I don't need to incentivize you, RB. You already do such good work so consistently. You are incentiveless. I guess 300 would be fair. See, this is what I was worried about. Yeah, very seamless. I noticed nothing. Yeah, good try. Good try. Oh yeah, Yoni's still doing the fabric folds assignment. Yeah, come on, my dude. I believe in you. Sailor's weapon is a shiliga. Am I saying that right? It's fun to say and on brand. Shililag. Fancy word for what is essentially just a whomping stick. That is very on brand. Alright, I think for this pose, since it's already quite creepy, we're going to go ahead and make her face even more disturbing. And by that, I just mean I'm going to pretty much take the lower section of her eyes and pull them straight down. There we go. That looks worse. Very good. Shai Lee. My goodness, it does not flow off the tongue. That is a fun one though. Shai Lee. Careful, Reaper. Not that kind of stream. All right, this is coming along really well. I'm very happy with how much I'm getting done today, even with all the fun chat shenanigans. Yoni says, Mia, what have you done? Your mods are coming from me. No, they're just very aggressively supportive of your art journey. That's what's really happening here. There you go. It's all just about perspective, Yoni. All right, so to finish up these last few pieces, I'm gonna use auto groups and then scoot the skirt so it's not clipping and all odd. I'm gonna use a 3D gizmo by clicking W to bring this on up. And then, there we go, the move brush to kind of smush it into place. I can only do this because it's an organic soft shape. If this was like a metal plate, I would just rely on the gizmo. Yeah, I knew that going to the Taver quotes. Thank you, Ray. Those are good. Those need to be recorded. So this one requires a little bit more work to get ready for 3D printing and not have all these like goofy clipping issues, but for the most part, still pretty quick. I like it. When we first started using Character Creator, we weren't even sure how to keep subdivision levels, so we've come quite a long way. Subdivision levels are what allow you to seamlessly move the resolution on each piece of your model. So what that means is essentially I could have like my base shape that's super low res and easy to pose, and that's super like high resolution with all the little fabric folds and details. All that info is on the same piece. So being able to shift back and forth between the two is excellent and like critical for easy and clean posing. In the beginning, we just didn't give Character Creator the option because it was throwing a fit about so many other different things. But now that we actually know how to use it correctly, it's been a really good tool. Taylor says, Mia, how come you don't showcase the use of Character Creator? Because it doesn't work on a Mac. So we have it on a completely separate computer. I do have videos of the process I do share on stream from time to time. You might have just happened to miss those. But I do scrub through the process and just so you guys can see like an overview of what the software looks like and get an idea if that's something that you'd be interested in. Yeah, but the big reason is because it literally does not run on my computer. I cannot put it on a Mac, which is lame. I'm hoping they'll have support for it at some point. my goodness. I have to put that in the chat. Or in our quotes. Talk about a wombo combo. That whole thing is terrible. Very good. That is now in Taver quotes for all. Jesus Christ. All right, this is just about finished. And now I can just worry about how I'm gonna handle the weapon. Obviously right now it doesn't make a ton of sense. I don't think I'm even gonna use this chain at all. I'm just going to position the spiky ball where I want it to be. There we go. And then just create a new chain entirely. Taylor says, Mia, or you could switch to Windows for ZBrush. Winders. No, I hate Winders. No Winders. God. Every time I try to use Windows, which I had it for years, I recently switched to Mac 2 years ago. God, Windows is so good at reminding you that you don't really own anything. It's like at least once a week. Here's an update that's going to take 15 minutes. No, it's not optional. No, I will not do when the PC is sleeping. Yes, I will try to brick myself. Winders. And my favorite, after every update, they're like, hey, do you want OneDrive? No, I don't. Do you want to pay for it? Still no. The fact that the amount of like ads I get on my Windows computer, I legit thought I had a virus. Nope, that's just the operating system. It sucks. It sucks so hard. Sater says, I guarantee she's too type A to allow for a 4-hour Ricky takeover. Oh, not at all. But I mean, yes, super type A. But no, in this case, I trust Ricky with everything. On the drive home yesterday, I actually was telling Ricky, like, you know, I don't think the peasants would mind if you did a live stream. So I've already kind of floated that out to him. Maybe you guys will get a Ricky live stream at some point. Don't hold your breath. He's still kind of shy on camera overall, but he's getting over it. Taylor says, Mia, that's completely fair. I despise all those aspects as well. I feel it. I feel like a pain. Go Linux. You sound like my dad. All right, let's go ahead and get a chain brush. That's going to do what I want it to do. I'm gonna go to load, just search my whole computer for chain. Miniblade says, we've asked for one actually. This is true. I let Ricky know that too, that the peasants want him. Yeah, Sater said, God, real talk. I disabled most of that, but once I was in school, I started a 12-hour render before going to sleep. Windows decided to update without letting me know it was coming and killed it. I mean, you're lucky it didn't just brick itself. I've had that happen before. Whole thing just bricked. Okay, it did brick itself. Yep, it does that. It does that. Aloha says, rule number 1 of Windows, disable auto updates. It's brutal. It does make it suck less. That is a good starting point. All right, so see how this curve brush is being absolute garbage? Here's a way you can fix that. Go to Picker and change it from continuous Z to once Z. This will make it so it doesn't try to follow the entire like body. It'll just go straight down. Another nice thing I can do here is enable lock start. So I'm gonna go to stroke, curve, yes, lock start. So now I click and drag. I can move this around. Oops, that was not what I wanted. I can move this around and it will stay in her hand no matter how I position the rest of it. All right. We're gonna do this as like 2 different sections. This is a draw size of 54. I'm gonna remember that because I'm gonna create the chain in 2 sections. I want it to be the same size still. So the size of each chain is dependent on what your draw size is. So right now I'm about 55, so I'll keep that in mind. All right, I'm gonna go to split mass points, scoot this over and inflate it by a pretty generous amount. All right, and now for the rest of it. Back to 55-ish. There we go. All right, I think it'd be cool if this like kind of drug on the base. But I need to make sure the curve brush is actually going to behave for me to do that. If you want to add more sections to the curve brush, you can kind of hover at the end here. See that little red line that pops up? Once that little tiny line pops up, you know you're good to go to click and drag and add more segments. Again, it's a curve brush, so it's kind of finicky, but it's really cool when it works. Just Lingual says, Mia, if you had a fantasy animal companion or familiar, what would it be? Black cat. Very simple, but near and dear to my heart. All right. I guess it's not very fantasy though. I don't know. A black cat that can talk. Does that just make me Sabrina? All right, there we go. That's looking cool and spooky and is much easier and faster than just trying to pose the chain that I already had. Perfect. All right, she's looking creepy and awful. Empress says, mine would for sure be a dragon if I can't have a rabbit. Okay, a dragon's a little overpowered. I don't know about that. Is that allowed? Satyr would take a raven. Yeah, see? Mia KK's delivery service. God, I love Kiki's delivery service. You flatter me. To be able to fit into any Ghibli world would be a delight. All right, she is almost complete, which puts us at 2 hours in this stream, which is 1 hour to post-process each pose. So it's 30 minutes a pose. Not bad. Not bad at all. Just Lingual says, Mia, a dragon is definitely allowed with Dark Warden rules. That's good to know. Reaper says, I want a dragon so bad. That checks out. Yeah, that's not a familiar though. It's more of a companion. That's true. My dog is full on snoring again. Oh, he's unearthed a little bit. You guys see how much he's like shaking? Here, this is important. We must stop everything we're doing. There he is. If you look carefully, you can see his whole little body wiggle. There we go. Can you guys hear that? It's really quiet. He's like whining. It's the smallest little boofs. I guess I don't have to whisper, do I? Okay. He's just so sweet. He deserves all of the spotlight. Bray says, I want some kind of demon dog or raven. Satyr had the right idea. Agreed. Empress says, if I could figure out a concept and learn ZBrush, I'll make it my first big project. I'll remember that. Bray says, you gotta make a dragon rabbit now. That'd be interesting to see. That could be our next Haver pet. He hath been unearthed. Hark. 2 more weeks of thunderstorms. Oh, I love that. Seriously though, my dog sleeps so much harder when it's stormy outside. Like, I know it's normal for animals to get nervous or on edge when there's like storms. Not him. He sleeps like a baby. Or I guess not like a baby then. Like you wish a baby would sleep. Yeah, that's a really good suggestion. Ray mentions go to get PureRef and build an inspo board. Absolutely. A reminder that PureRef is free. It's optional to donate. Obviously, if you have an extra buck, throw it their way because they make something really cool. But you do not have to. I think a lot of people get caught up where it says like, oh, enter in like amount of money. It feels weird, but you just type 0. Feels bad, man, but it is an option. Yeah, we can have a whole line of half rabbits. I love it. Yeah, Loa mentions the devs of PureRef are great, so please support the app by downloading. Speaking of, can one of the mods try this out right now? Can you guys post links now? Can you post a link to PureRef right now in the chat? Because that would be super relevant and very, very helpful. Yep, mods can post links now. Heck yeah. It worked. I can see it. And it's clickable. That's gonna be really nice. Sweet. Because sometimes we do talk about stuff like that, you know? And I don't have a command for everything, obviously, so very good. Day 1 of having mods in the stream has already been really nice. What a luxury. Very fancy around here now. All right, both poses are complete. Yeah, put it in Discord too, the resources. Fantastic. Aloha says, yes, Mia, whenever you reference a site or a game or resource, you don't have to pause the stream to go find it. That's going to be so nice. Sater says, the funny thing is, I think there's somehow less of a delay for the Brits than there is for us, or me at least. No, I think Aloha is just really fast. Ray, you and Aloha are both in the same world. The same world. You're both Europeans. Interesting. All right, we have these bases are complete. Let's go ahead and remesh this, make it nice and low poly, and delete any funny business. Perfect. All right, no mesh errors, my favorite. No, 3 mesh errors, not my favorite. I predict it's right here is the problem. Oh yeah, that looks problem. Just go ahead and smooth you out. Now remesh by union. There we go. Perfect. Again, it's not the end of the world if you have a couple mesh errors. It's really not. I try to just keep things as clean as possible. All right, all of that has been merged down. Let's go ahead and get that put into Mesh Mixer and completed. Nope, not export. There you go. Perfect. Sater says, oh no, I keep track of our Brits. So far I have Aloha, Bunny, Ray, and Foxy. I think there might be one more than forgetting. No, that's about right. I know RB is India. I think so. think these are the right size, which is perfect. I've been on a roll with that recently. Good. No, I can make her a little bit taller. Okay. Increase this by 2%. Excellent. Nope, not mirror and weld. That would be cursed. I've done that happy accident before. This might be another happy accident. What if I did like a Siamese twin? Like horror version of this? Oh my god, that's too scary. Then I have to fix her legs. Nope, we're not doing that. Just kidding. It had potential to be cool and quick, but no. Hey, Monkey's here. Hello, hello. Yes, Monkey is American. Speak of the devil. Yeah, mods have ascended. We now have 3 official mods. Surprising nobody. It's Satyr, Reaper, and Aloha. The cursed doll. Yeah. Satyr, are you American human or UK human? Very so, Satyr. I fear that our interests and mannerisms may be too similar. You are old me. I have thought that before, I just didn't say it. Alright, we're going to export the base, label it B, and then we'll have an action and a casual. Flip it over, and then turn this. There we go. And that's just making sure that nothing is hanging off of the base. I could also do it from the top. I just find it's a little more foolproof from the bottom. All right, making sure none of the spikes are causing any issues. I'm going to smooth that one because I don't want to have to support it. So I'm just going to get rid of it. Perfection. Yoni says, can I ask the chat's age? Yeah, most people aren't shy about it. I think all of y'all know I am 29, 28. Shit, I'm actually not certain. I do not turn 30 this year. That's next year. I am 28. Wow, confidently wrong. That's fine. It's just on stream. Christ. Okay. Hello, said Mia. I told my friends about this community, and their immediate response was, oh god, you haven't started another cult, have you? And the answer is, you did. Ray, just don't draw attention to it. Don't worry about it. God, just immediately confidently wrong. That's okay. It's my favorite kind of wrong. Reaper and Aloha are the same age. Huh, I feel like I should have known that. She's a little crooked, so we're gonna just scoot her on over. There we go. Really easy fix. Okay, it's easy fix, but the way that I flattened it kind of created more problems. So instead of using flatten, I'm going to use knife rectangle, and it should generate topology that doesn't look like nonsense. Cool, that's fine. It's higher res than it needs to be, but that's fine. Satyr says, Mia, just ask me. You're almost exactly 10 years behind me. There we go. Yeah, Ray, you might be the youngest one here at 20. Yoni's 25 soon. Yeah, I have all your birthdays written down now. Empress, all these young people. I'm gonna go to the grave turning 30 tomorrow. Girl, almost thought we were the same age. Where's Non-Sleeper? Non-Sleeper has all you beat. Non-Sleeper is in their 60s, I think. And my grandma is now part of the channel. My grandma's in her 80s, so she's got y'all beat. Ian says, wow, I'm a geezer. Oh no. Yeah, Monkey's birthday is also tomorrow. They too ascend 1 human age year. RB is 33. Yeah, I believe the oldest member is... No, Non-Sleeper I think is in their 60s, so I think now it's my grandma as of yesterday. Satyr, you missed that. My grandma like became a channel member during the stream. It was very cute. It was very wholesome. And everyone was talking to my grandma in the chat. It was great. Yeah. All right, let's export this casual. All right. Ray says, only downside mentioning my age is it tends to discredit what I say. I don't think anyone thinks that. I think that's you saying that. I think you saying that discredits what you say. It's like discreditception. You did miss Grammy B. Yeah, I've never called her that, but that is really funny. Yeah, it popped up on screen. Yeah, Marlene Benzine. That's my grandma. I think that Aloha screenshotted it, or not screenshotted it, but made a clip in probably Taver quotes then, if I had to guess. Yes, right here. If you go to Taver quotes, M3DM grandma cameo. It's a whole little bit. Again, thank you so much, Aloha, for saving that. Damn, burn Satyr. That's what I was going to say, but I thought it was too mean. And then you said it for me, so I like it. Watch, Ray's just going to leave now and be like, fine, I'm not welcome here anymore. Jokes. It's just joke. Monkey, I hate that you said that. That is not the past tense of screenshot. That is the worst. All right, we got Curse. Yeah, right. Damn, okay. To Satyr. Curse Clown Doll. Action. And this is the, not Action. Action. This is the no base version. Ray says, Mia, no tutorial for you. Oh, straight to the heart. I forgot about that. I gotta watch what I say. Yeah, one brain. One brain. Alright. Yeah. I'm gonna let that go, Satyr. Alright. Cute. I actually like this one a lot. Like the non-creepy one is actually kind of cute. Satyr has given 1 point to Ray for emotional damage. That is an exceptional use of gifting point. Oh my gosh. Beautiful. I've really been enjoying today's stream, like I always do, but today took less energy. I don't know if it was just because it's a Thursday, or it's just having like sharing the responsibility of the chat with the mods. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm not feeling nearly as tired as I normally do at the end of Tavern Keeper's Craft, which is awesome because my goal is to get to 4-hour streams. So yes. All right, it is time for one of my favorite moments of the stream, which is checking boxes. Curse Clown Doll. Finished. Finished. That is my favorite. All right, now on the live one. Releasing soon. Big thank you again to Thanik for requesting this and supporting my art for, I think it's 14 months. It's over a year, so thank you, thank you. Next, time to upload. First, Clown Doll. Action. Oh, it's in my downloads. There we go. Perfect. Jenny said, Mia, I thought you were going to say break time. Soon. Yes, we're very close. The mug has almost bubbled its way all the way over. Oh yeah, Aloha never got their point for their beautiful New art. I can't word right now. Yeah, I'll let mods try to fix that. Perfect. Not my problem anymore. All right. Upload this. Aloha. Oh no. That is really funny. Ember says, nice to see another set of models touch the finish line. Agreed. All right, move this one and this one. Is that my husband? I hear footsteps. I can't tell. All right, we're gonna go all the way back to the Ratfolk just to have it on screen because it's really sweet and I like it. Epic. That's my new loading screen from now and forever. Beautiful. Beautiful. Sater says, wait, I'm not equipped for YouTube tech difficulties. Yeah, it's true. You do not have the power. How come Reaper can do it? Oh no. Ray says, Mia has demons in her house. Shh, you'll upset them. Oh, Maverick is all the way unearthed. Check him out. This is Tail. Hi, baby. Yeah, that was a good snort. Can I lift this and actually show them to you? There he is. You're popular. Are you ready to go outside? Dude, look at how accurate my little dog is. Like, at this point, we are time for break. That's happy hour. And sure enough, he's like, yep, I'm ready to go outside. Mother, you require outside time. Okay, I'll go get you. Don't worry about it. Okay. It is time. I'm gonna go on break. It is currently 2:24 p.m. And I will probably take a short one because I had a ton of pasta this morning for breakfast, like an absolute heathen. Alrighty, 2:24. Can I add? I'll just say 2:40 at the latest. We see a tail twitching. It was circling, thank you. He has a tail wag. Alright, 2:40 p.m. returning from break. Sweet. Alright, I will see you guys shortly. When I come back for happy hour, I will figure out something new to work on. And D20 of Destiny rolls are in play at that time. So, really fun. Okay, bye. Hey y'all, welcome back. So I was thinking during happy hour I would work on the Cherry Blossom Dragon. Pretty excited. I did see there were some questions about donations and whatnot. Yeah, so yesterday was the first time I made Tavern Pets just straight out purchasable, which was an orange super chat, which is $20. The next step up was $50. I really wanted it to be $30, but $50 is too much, and $20 did feel like just enough. So instead I made this bar at the top here, so if multiple people contribute, then you guys can kind of build up together. But if you want $30 just straight up purchase a Tavern Pet, that is absolutely allowed. I might not have the bar available every day, but on days I'm feeling up to it, I know I can make a Tavern Pet on the spot, that will be available. So yes. Yoni, technically it is the first of the month, which means your membership, you've been a member for 2 months. I mean, you haven't paid twice yet, but like it will come up. And I'm not going to be that picky of being like, your renewal is this day. So start thinking about your next model request anyway. Gifted memberships will not count towards the total because that would be like a twofer, and that's just like too broken. But any other donations, whatever, the super chats, super stickers, whatever, all those count. Why has everything got to be super? Also, Aloha, I showed the donation bar that you made, or just kind of like drafted up really quick to Ricky, and the first thing he said was like, did they draw that? Like, he was very impressed by like how clean the coin is sitting and stuff, and you did that really quickly, so that's awesome. We are going to use this. I'm going to pretty much just take this exactly and then superimpose this bar on top of it so it fits. And then I think we're going to move all the mugs over to the side. So yes. It's soon be part of the actual stream. Thank you. Appreciate your creativity. Oh, hey, Aiden. Hi, I'm new here. Hey, welcome in. Hello, hello. Yoni says, so $30 donation will get a Tavern Pet. Pretty much. Technically, today we already had a donation, so it'd be $28. Because we're $2 of the way there. But yeah. In the meantime, though, I'm going to work on this Cherry Blossom Dragon. Very excited. Young, I love he missed what Mia said. No, it's okay. You're totally okay. Gifted memberships will not count towards the donation total, but everything else does. Also, don't forget to pick your next legendary request if you're still in that tier, which I'm pretty sure you are. Oh, you're so sweet. They're replaying the stream. It's okay. You'll hear it twice then. All right, so there is the matter of the Cherry Blossom Dragon. We made a cute baby version of this, but it's time to start developing the secondary forms and really getting this looking like a dragon and not just like a bunch of blobs and noodles that are put together. It does have a lot of present, and that's very cool. That is definitely the first step, but it's time to work on the rest of it. For now, I am gonna hide the wings because they make the silhouette kind of hard to read, and I really want to make sure I nail these fundamentals down first, and then afterwards we can start building on the wings. Oh my gosh, just Lingle says, Mia, if you squint, then the cherry blossoms look like eyeballs, and it's a biblically accurate dragon. Yep. Alrighty. I have some other subtools that are laid in here because I just want to like play with different wing types, so I'm going to clean this up really quick. We're going to hide that. And then we do need many more cherry blossoms. Very cool. I don't have any dragon head references just like available. Let's see if I already put them on board. Reaper says you could make the wings teeny tiny instead. I might. We'll definitely revisit that when the time comes. But for now, let me go ahead and pull up my original board. Oh, I forgot about Nucklavy too. We've got all kinds of creatures to work on. Yeah, more decorative than functional. Agreed. All right, just getting everything organized on my side. I got all kinds of monitors with lots of references. So this was a Tavern Keeper's craft when we first drafted this from scratch, which means we'll have lots of fantastic references as well. I'm gonna go ahead and skim through these and start looking for some head shapes to refine so we don't have like a blob. Aloha says, Mia, I saw this thing that was explaining how the mark of a good artist is how much they're able to squeeze out of basic forms to create interest without needing or relying on details. Very well said. This dragon already looks great despite being simple forms. Thank you. I really appreciate that. That head doesn't make sense. Oh, that's right. Maverick was in dog jail that day. He looks so unhappy. All right. That's when we're doing the cherry blossom pet. Yep. Hence booty. All right. This is the one that I think was my favorite. I'm going to go ahead and screenshot this and start populating my reference board on my other monitor. There's more booty. That was very early in our Taver pet. All right, looking at more different types of heads. I think this one was from Satyr. I'm a huge fan of the shapes here as well. There we go. And then since this is happy hour, this is the time that's really dedicated for my students. So you guys have questions, please let me know, especially if you're in my mentorship program, whether it's just general questions about art business, or turning in assignments. All of that is permitted. That one would be kind of fun. It's more of like a traditional, it's more of a statue vibe than it is like a living dragon. Oh yes, and this was supposed to be pretty heavily influenced by Mizutsune, and I definitely think some of those things show up. Aiden said, your models look awesome. I had to become a legendary member right away. Oh, thanks. I made my first request last night. Zexus332. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I just reviewed that. Oh, cool. You know, I had a feeling I recognized your avatar, but I wasn't like certain. Well, hey, huge welcome. Like, thanks for being here and supporting my art and for their awesome request. I'm really, really looking forward to it. Big welcome to everyone. Yeah. Yeah, you joined the Discord too. Heck yeah. Happy to have you here, seriously. Welcome to the cult, club. Alrighty. Let me get some more Dragon Head references. Mini Blaze really killed it with a ton of lovely references here. I think I have enough, but this one I also am pretty partial to. Oh, I forgot about Ray's though with the oh my gosh, the blossom scales. That's gonna be fantastic. I'm just gonna screenshot this entire board you made because all of it is excellent. We have some cherry blossoms, so we're good on there. Okay, sweet. I gathered all my pieces. I'm gonna throw them up into a document. Oh, Ray, you put even more goodness. You're the best. Thank you so much, Ray. Okay. Ooh, these are really helpful. This one actually is especially helpful, even though it looks the most blobby, because it's painted in just the values, which for me is like 3D gold, because I can know what to push in and what to pull up. Amazing. Ooh, this one is so delicate and pretty. Okay. We're gonna take this one, and just this entire blob because I like how many different variations there are. Somebody give a point to Ray. Excellent. Okay. Ray says, I don't know if any of those are used to you. Check the bottom. They were super helpful. Thank you, thank you. Much love. There, just a flicker of love. All right, let me get these imported so I can have a clear reference, and then we're gonna start building. Ray says, Mia, after seeing how Aloha did his dragon so well, I decided that I'm going to redo my dragon project on the side. Good, I love that. I love seeing this upward spiral of just artistic growth. Seriously, love to see it. All right, bam. All right, I have some references pulled up. We're gonna do a little stamp up here. Just a reminder too, like the coins on here were added by Non-Sleeper. I still owe them a D20 roll whenever they come back. All right. Trying to get this to fit nicely, but those horns are gigantic. I'm gonna just, you know what? You're just gonna scoot at the bottom here. Right there. Nope, I don't like it. All I'm doing is putting like a little stamp on the screen to reference later, but I'm very picky about it. There we go. Sweet. It is time to start working on the head. The first thing I'm going to do is actually hide the horns because I don't want them to distract from the way I'm going to create the top of the head. So I'm going to hide those and the rings. The rings I think were from a donation Grimnir did. Pretty cool. All right, we have a head. And notice that I made the top and the bottom 2 separate subtools, gives me a lot more control. Now it's time to get sculpting. All right, let's go. I'm gonna use my clay brush for this, and the first thing I'm gonna do is actually add a bunch of resolution. You guys don't see me sculpting this way very often because I do a lot of blocking out on stream. But when you're starting to add your secondary forms, I really encourage you to come with a clay brush and start more like a traditional sculpting. So the first thing I'm gonna do is kind of block out where the eye is. And all of this is just done using the clay brush. This is gonna happen pretty quick, so just keep a note of it. If you guys need me to repeat anything or explain it, just let me know. Aiden says, heck yeah, I've been looking for a 3D artist for a while. I've been looking for a werewolf figure for a long time, but none of them really fit my character, as most of them are very hyper aggressive. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that. I just recently did a werewolf farmer. So she has like a cute like little blouse on and stuff. Much more civilized. It does kind of look like a seahorse at the moment. I'm a big fan of like elegant, or like this Chinese dragon wormling look. Yeah. Also, I kind of did it. Oops. I like to explain my process as visually as possible because a lot of you guys are visual learners. Let me explain like why I'm blocking out the shapes that I'm doing. So I grabbed a reference, and the first thing I want to make sure is that I have this head shape, right? Which is kind of like a tapered triangle. Can I put that here? Yeah, so that looks about the same. You like lean back, you look at it like, yeah, okay, tapered triangle, right? So the next thing I'm looking at are my secondary forms, which are just pretty much smaller shapes that complement the big shape, but not tiny details, not like all these little tiny things. Those are tertiary. Collectively, though, it's a secondary. Yep, it's not like a hard and fast rule. Anyway, so since I have my blob, you don't go from step 1 to step 3. You go to 1, 2, 3. So our second stage here are these kind of defining features. So I want to have this big brow. In order to construct that, it's an entire like orbital socket, right? So we have our eyeball, which is surrounded by this big brow and this cheekbone, okay? So that's what I'm starting to block out right here. Next is going to be like this portion that leads down into the snout. So you're seeing that I've already kind of blocked that out. I just want you guys to know like exactly why I'm laying down material and the way that I'm doing it, because it can look kind of random or like magic, but it's not. I'm just looking at like, okay, what are the shapes that I'm missing? It just comes down to like building blocks. Try to break it down like you're like a kindergartner, right? You're like, okay, I got triangle. What am I missing? Circle. Oval, line, literally what I'm doing. So yes. Aiden said, I saw that one. That and your werewolf alchemist I saw selling on Etsy. And that's what brought me here. No kidding. Oh my gosh, that werewolf alchemist is one of my favorites. That was one of my first werewolves I did, or like just wolf folk, that actually looked like a wolf and not like lumpy. Wolves are really hard to do. If you make them too narrow, they look like foxes. If you make them too wide, they just look chunky. Wolves are tricky. They're very tricky. All right, any other questions? Are we doing good? I think so. A Hydra would be a lot of work. I've done a couple Hydra. They're really fun. I wouldn't mind doing one again. Okay, so again, looking at my reference. And I'm not trying to copy that dragon shape. I want something that's a lot more streamlined and sleek, but it's gonna have the same like bony landmarks and stuff. All right, another important thing is the way that the mouth lines up. So right now it's like this blob, and I'm not gonna have a very clean edge. So in order to create that, Mini blades, if you're still here, this is how I recommend flattening, because you had some questions on that. I'm just using H polish, that you could use trim dynamic, that's just fine, just to flatten this up. And if you're wondering, like, why are you bothering with this if you can't see most of it? It's because it's gonna give me a better edge when they're both flat. Here, I'll show you. Because the shapes that form when two objects meet, it's important to manage those lines as well. All right, here we go, H polish and trim dynamic. Perfect. There, we have a nice clear transition, and I can turn on transparency and then see where that shape is terminating, because I want it to be more narrow. There we go. And this is what's going to allow me to really easily construct teeth and all that kind of fun business. There we go. Because even if you're not like going to sculpt the entirety of the mouth and like show the mouth and the teeth, you still want to have that illusion there. And the best way to have that illusion is to not make it an illusion, to make it actually a separate piece, and they can talk. It never gets old. Something kind of interesting here is I am doing some like high poly sculpting when I'm laying in clay like this. I don't do that super often, and you don't have to do it that way. You can work from your low subdiv, no problem still. Sometimes I like that really like organic feel of working with clay though, and that's why I have this here. All right, so there's more of like a fanned out shape to the jaw. So I'm gonna kind of just create almost like a petal-like shape to the jaw here. I'm really thinking about the way that these lines are going to curve, because there's a lot of like energy and assumptions behind shapes. I know that sounds like hippie stuff, but I'm serious. Like, there's a reason why you see like villain designs are covered in like sharp triangles and spikes versus like Barney is like a big round dinosaur. You know what I mean? Circles, soft, friendly. I want this to be elegant, but kind of severe still. So it's going to be kind of like rounded triangles, if that makes sense, in very long shapes. There we go. I'm going to start building up some material where the antlers are going to meet as well. See how that's already looking a lot more interesting and defined? I'm going to need to add some eyeballs sooner than later. So I'm going to go ahead and just append a sphere and move it on in there. Notice that I'm making the eyeballs a separate piece as well. That's a really easy way to kind of lose definition in a model, is if you make the eyes like just like sculpted blobs in. You really want to make sure that they stay perfectly spherical. If you want to get really fancy with it, you can have like a small bulge on it, like how our eyes actually are. But long story short, sphere. I'm gonna pick a really dark pink right now just for the contrast. Oh, are you guys explaining poing? Sater says to me and Ricky, we're gonna need another command to explain what the hell poing is, so we aren't having to do that thing every time. Yeah, I agree. I can do that. Can you guys like, you can put it in our general. Eventually you can put it like in our mod channel or in the chat if you ping me. Give me like a 1 to 2 line description of what it is. I can bake that into a command. All right, I'm also going to create eyelids sooner than later. And the way that I do that is simply by duplicating the eyeball and going to mask lasso. I just kind of cut right in the middle, split mask points, and I close holes on the top and on the bottom. I also polish by features and then Z-remesh a few times. For this, I like to go back to very low poly. Then inflate just a little bit and you'll start to see that eyelid poke out. Giving my characters and monsters eyelids, even though it seems like really simple and silly, it's probably one of the single best things I did to like elevate my creature design and have control over all these shapes. All right, so we have eyelids. Now what do you do with them? You pose them. You can then use these to further refine what kind of shape you want the eyeball to be. There we go. Isn't that cool? And then sometimes for really large monsters like this, I'll give them like a double eyelid effect, but for now we'll just kind of keep it nice and simple. There we go. Aloha did poing with an emoji that's perfect. Poing is the fun currency of the stream. Earn poing by watching, interacting. Spend poing in the poing store. Perfect. That seems nice and simple. We can edit it later if we like, but I'm gonna go ahead and add that as a command right now. And then you guys can see like how quick that is. It's gonna be just exclamation point poing for the command. Oh no, the emoji doesn't look the same on my side. Sad. Can I put a new one? Nah, we're emoji-less on this one. That's okay. All right, that command should be in action now. Let me test it out. I'll put an emoji in later. Hey, non-sleepers here. Hello, hello. We love Mia and Poing. That's very sweet of you. Speaking of, I owe you a D20 roll, so if you want to do that now, let me know. All right, we are still working on the head of the dragon here. Let's go ahead and get these poly painted. There we go. All right, now let's keep working on these shapes. I'm using the move brush right now to kind of fix these volumes to where I want them to be. All right, now Sleeper said, let's D20. All right, let's do it. We're slowly starting to work on this face, looking a little squished, but it's gonna be cool. Tavern pet, fingers crossed. You got a 5% chance for that. He has to roll a 10. Not anymore. I move it kind of all the time. Alrighty. Where did I put it? I'm always moving things. There it is. It was at the very, very top. All right, this is for non-sleeper. Quick question though. Aiden says, how large do you usually see your models printed? Obviously D&D mini size, but I've been itching to try to get my hands on a larger figurine. Oh yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of printing my own stuff larger too. Like when I print my stuff, I print it this big. I actually have a bunch of them. So I like more of like a 72mm scale, though I also of course have like the classic smaller one. So here's the 28. And I think this is 54. Or 72. I can't remember. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the bigger ones too. I don't sell prints yet, but I'm going to very soon. So those will be available at some point in the future. I find them easier to print, or not print, paint, because I'm not the best painter. All right, let's get this going for non-sleeper. All right, I'm gonna pause ads, make sure there's no interruption. And we roll. Non-sleeper rolled a 2. Close to that 1. All right. Everybody needs a friend. Choose a familiar, so a pet rock, rat, toad, or butterfly to be, in this case, a buddy to the cherry blossom dragon. I imagine a butterfly would suit pretty well, but it's up to you. I could do like a little smiley rock, but pretty much you get to add yet another little familiar to the space, which is fun because the last time you donated, that's why we have all the gold coins here. So kind of a happy accident that you ended up contributing to the same model twice. I love it. Aiden said, ooh, this looks awesome. Thank you so much. Ray says, Mia, I kind of love that everything is just at your whim and changes suddenly. Yeah, I'm a bit chaotic. It keeps things fresh. This is how Taver Pet started. Technically, yeah, but we're definitely not, this is not a Taver Pet. This is like, pick an animal, like a familiar, like a normal one. Like it's something I already have. So like a butterfly would be perfect. I'm happy to do a friendly rock, but it's not a full-blown character. Good try. A rat. It has to be a rat. I'm surprised by that, but I do have a rat I can add. I think I have that under my item Z tool, and it's just like the angriest looking thing too. Let's see, I have scorpions, I have a cat, some skulls, and of course, a little angry rat. I'll put it like on top of the rock pile. This is the same model and base I use to make the queen and stuff, so it is screaming. I will fix that so it is not screaming unless you want that. I'm gonna go ahead and close the mouth so it's a little less cursed looking, though it is very funny. We're gonna just do a little mass lasso, hide that last tooth, and just gonna kind of close the mouth here so it's a calm little dude. There we go. Calm vibes. Does not need to be a spaz. Almost looks a little friendly. Almost. Alrighty. What if I put it on top of the gate? And then I'm gonna go ahead and do a really quick pose, and an easy way to do that is coming up here to bend arc and just put a nice little bend. And it's gonna distort the model a touch, so I'll negate that by using the 3D gizmo. There we go. We now got a little friend, courtesy of Non-Sleeper. I thought for sure we'd end up with like a butterfly or something, but honestly, this is really cute. There we go. Now we got a little friend. Do you guys want to name it? Non-Sleeper said, screaming's okay. Doesn't really fit the theme. So I'll make it a happier smug rat. Same wavelength. I love it. I could put it between the gate like it's walking through. That would also be really cute. Like it's just, that would imply that it's kind of like it's a yokai crossing over. I think I might like it there better. It's a little harder to see. Oh, that's really cute though, actually. Look at this little guy. I'm gonna give that a little screenshot, and that's gonna go into our page. Look at him just hanging out. Just a little guy. Year of the Dragon or rat. Nice. Cute. There, giving him a little smirk. There we go. And then maybe even just a little bit, I like the white rat, I think fits quite well. And then just a little bit of a blush. Not quite that intense, but there we go. How's that? Cute. I'm actually gonna go ahead and, if I can get that same angle, because that was really cute. There we go. Just a little guy. Cute. Non-Sleeper says perfect. Good, I'm happy you're happy. All right, we're gonna take another stab at this head. Oh, we're actually at the end of happy hour. We are. Oh, wow, three hours into the stream already. Surprised by that. Goodness, time flies. Ray said, Mia, after you close the mouth, did you use a smooth brush to fix the topology? It was so quick, I couldn't see the circle color. Yes, I believe it was smooth. Yes. I might have used a little bit of the clay brush to kind of like patch up the seams, but yeah. Very good. All right, that moves us into last call. All right, so this is the last bit of the stream. If you are sad, do not fear. I stream again tomorrow, also at noon Eastern time. But for now, this is kind of like your last moment to like ask any questions, comments, whatever, general peasant merriness until the next stream. I want to keep working on these horns just a bit. Now I've gotten like some basic shape of the head defined. I'm going to start building up the forms around the horns. Just going to get like a little bit more work done. There we go. Those look different than the other side. There we go. Oh yes, very good point from Non-Sleeper. If you haven't already, like the stream, it really does help a lot. All right, let's kind of build up some more of these forms and grab my references again. Sometimes when I do like this high poly sculpting, I'll even come through at the end with a Zeri mesh, which pretty much nukes a lot of your topology, but it cleans it up. But it'll roughly keep your loose forms correct. The more that you guys see me like sculpt on stream, you'll notice that there's general rules that I follow, but every now and then it does kind of just come down to like mood. And I'm like, you know what, today I kind of want blobs. And so that's the approach I'll take. All right, I'm bringing in a little bit more of like these rounded forms on the sides, and that's bringing in that cherry blossom like petal look. But again, it's just the beginning of establishing that design. So I'm not going in with like a ton of small details yet, just starting to build up some forms. I always find that the jaw of the dragon can get kind of nebulous. There's not as many like bony landmarks to follow, it seems like. It's kind of like a little hollow section that sits under the lip. I find like one of the easiest spots is just the underside, because you have like the edge of the jaw and then like this fattier portion. Like we have it the same way too, like this piece of skin. And now I'll kind of transition to the neck. I don't know what the fancy name for that is, but I'm sure there's a fancier name for that than flab of skin. Minivice says, what do you think about a cherry blossom on the head between the antlers like a hat? I probably won't do it like dead center, because that's a little like too cutesy for this like majestic thing. But I definitely will have some cherry blossoms right at the base. Absolutely. All right, I'm gonna start playing with clay tubes now, but with the focal shift reduced. You'll notice that I'm actually lowering the resolution again, and I'll come in with like polish by features to kind of like just clean up the shapes I roughed in. I actually have these nostrils going the wrong way. Happens. This is why you have references. Yep, I had backwards nostrils. Here we go. That's kind of a fun, happy accident shape there. I like how that overlapped quite a lot. I don't mind giving like a bit of a fuller like mouth cheek because it kind of reminds me like almost like a cat mouth, which I have kind of seen more of that form language on these Chinese dragons. Right now I'm using the standard brush to kind of build up some wrinkles and then really give a more clarity to where that like jawbone is. Same with damn standard, kind of cut through some lines and then build up the front of the brow. The whole head got a little wide, so I'll use my gizmo to just kind of, there we go, before, after, just kind of scoot it in again. I think the poly paint is making it a little hard to read, so we're gonna adjust the poly paint. Got a little too heavy and a little too dark. There we go. I'm gonna come in with drag rectangle instead and do a really soft gradient around the eye and the tip of the nose. There we go. That suits much nicer. There we go. I'm playing with a little bit of like petal shaped motif on the chin. I don't want like a goatee necessarily, but I do think having a little bit of like a chin shape could be interesting. I need to decide whether the top of the head's going to overlap or the bottom of the jaw. I think the top of the head's going to win, so I need to tuck that back and bring the head forward. There we go. There's kind of like a moment where the interlock, I have to decide like what is going to win. Which means the easiest way to do that is to mask this section of the head, grab my transpose line, and then click and drag and just completely change that shape. There we go. Aiden said, a while ago I tried my hand at 3D sculpting using my iPad. Oh, cool. And I somehow managed to create a decent base for a wolf head just by playing with the tools. I never figured out how to recreate it. Yeah, the nebulous one-hit wonder. It happens to all of us sometimes. Very cool though. Keep at it. If you do a little bit of sculpting every day, like you're gonna surprise yourself. That's how like really any successful creative gets their start. Just make a little bit of art every day. And I don't even mean like as a business. I just mean being a happy, consistent artist in general. All right, let's go ahead and ZBrush. Oh yes, and I do teach. Where do bad rainbows go? Where did they go, Mini Blaze? The only downside about ZBrush is that it nukes your poly paint. Boo. To Prism, it's a light sentence, but it gives them time to reflect. I need to text that to my dad. He's gonna love that. Very good. Very lame. Perfect. All right, I think these horns need to look a little more elegant. There's some good beginnings of the shape language here, but it's overall just a little too chunky. So I'm going to de-inflate them and then start stretching these forms down further in the head. I think I can explore some pretty cool shapes here. There we go. There we go. Cool. Well, we went from this little blob head to this. Definitely an improvement. Got a long way to go, but not bad for 30 minutes. Let's stick a flower on it and call it good for right now. Because it is last call and I cannot just make a whole another live stream out of it. Even if I want to. That is not sustainable. Let's see if I can just like really quickly dot a bunch of these. They're not going to be on the right axis from the side view. But I can smush them around later using my move brush. Yeah, when it comes to flowers, I'm a more is more kind of gal. Here we go. They're, as I mentioned, really not on the right axis, but that's okay. We can just shoop. And they're mostly in place. This is more of just getting a concept down than anything else. Crazy dark circles. Hey, nothing wrong with some dark circles. It gives character. Also, I imagine this thing is thousands of years old. Aging like a nice wine, just maybe perhaps a little literally. Perfect. All right, so I've made some good progress here. Aloha says you can ZBrush and keep poly paint on. What? No, you can't. You can project back on. I am exploring into this. ZBrush. Where is this keep poly paint button? Oh shoot, use poly paint. Mesh density. No, that's not quite the same thing. That's you can like paint your mesh and then it'll ZBrush in respect to where you poly painted. Target poly count. I am intrigued if there is a way that does not involve projection. Japanese plum wine. That does sound good. Pricey? Probably. Sounds fancy. There is a keep poly paint button. No, there's not. Where? This is what I'm looking at. This is my ZBrusher. I do not see this keep poly paint. I see keep creases. There's a use poly paint, but again, that's not the same thing. That's so it like, well, ZBrush to respect. I would look into this. Here we go. Keep poly paint. You have it. Well, I don't have the new version. I'm still at 2022.0.8. So you guys in your new fancy, yeah, double, half, same, and adapt. Wow. I have that too, but I don't have poly paint. It's okay. It's okay. I do not have it. Rip. But just to compare. There we go. Sad. 15 for a bottle is not bad at all. Okay. My face is tired from smiling. We are at the end of the stream officially. If you guys have any last comments, concerns, questions, complaints, just kidding. If it's a concern or complaint, no. But if it's a question, I'm happy to answer. Ray says, Mia, hold up. You have that crazy pricey running software but don't have the latest ZBrush? I do not. I refuse to pay Maxon $500 for a couple buttons. And yes, my very fancy, expensive render is Keyshot, and it's very worth it. I can also get really good renders like in Blender, but that requires way more setup. Aloha says, well, if you pay the full price to update, you can have that cool button. I'll keep that in mind. Ray says, damn, 15 pounds is nothing. I think that's the first time that I haven't called pounds euros. It helps to have my screen a little bit bigger so the chat's not like this big. Mount Sleeper says, Mia and Ricky, hope you have an awesome day. If I don't see you before, an awesome weekend. Oh, thank you so much. Same goes to you, of course, of course. Always a pleasure to have you in the tap room. All right, y'all. Mia is tired. Oh, I wanted to note, though, that we had 143 views on the stream today, which is huge. We rarely break 100, so pretty awesome. All right, guys. You take care, and I'll see you tomorrow. Reminder, I stream every day at noon Eastern time, unless it's the weekend, and then it's closer to 1 p.m. Eastern time, but same. All right, guys. Seriously, you take care, and I'll see you later. Bye.